Okay. We're live. So,
Oh.
what's up, people? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
I'm joined here by my man, the future Hall of Famer, JD Legend. And it is, it's a good time for this collab to happen. We just recently did a collab. What was it? 2-3 weeks ago? I don't even know. I don't know about time.
I was thinking like 2 weeks ago, I'd say.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. So we had the Sanji Summit. We had King of Lightning with us. We had Joy Girl with us. I did reach out to them to do a full, recreation of the Sanji Summit, but unfortunately, it's like, 4 a.m. for Joy Girl, and King of Lightning's traveling. But wanted to do this because after 1031, there's a lot of Sanji business to be talking about. Like, we talked a lot there, but then 1031 kind of changed the game a little bit. I mean, we got people like Morge out here calling it the greatest Sanji moment of all time. So, I needed to bring my fellow cultured individual when it comes to Vince Smoke Sanji to talk about this. And we got the live action, but I'm going to let my man, introduce himself, say what he wants to say, get whatever he wants off his chest.
What's up, everybody? Don, Godfather, future Hall of Famer, you know the spiel. Thanks, Randy, for having me on here. First of all, I'm very proud to be here in the momentous occasion where Sanji is showing up. All the straw hats so far, I'm not gonna lie. That's my opinion right now. Sanji has been excellent. I don't know. Apparently, I have an echo. I think it's coming from me. I don't know if I have an echo or not. But yeah, just happy to be here. I'm excited to talk about Sanji, and we talked with it a little bit with Morge, and I'm curious to see your thoughts on where you think Sanji's going and whether you think this is the best Sanji you've seen.
So let's see. Let me see if I fix this echo a little bit here. Let's see. How can JD as the voice of all things, huh? All right. Try talking now. Let me see. I lowered my volume a little bit here.
I have an echo. Why would I have an echo?
They're telling me to put headphones on. All right. I'll put headphones on.
Jay sounds like a robot. Fix the mic, we can hear you, but I sound muddled. Interesting. Okay, so it's me. 1 second.
Say something for me, man.
Hello?
All right, so I can hear you. Can the people still hear you? That's the question. Did this fix
sound muddled?
We'll wait for the chat to let us know if that fixed everything. In the meantime, it's audible, but it's pretty bad. Jay still sounds.
Okay. Now it's good. They're saying it's good.
Oh, it's good. It's good. All right. Cool. All right. Fixed. It's good. All right. Great. So, sorry about that, everybody. This is, the first collab that I'm doing with another One Piece content creator. We previously did the, the stream with my cousin Eddie and all of that. But this is, this is a monumental, momentous occasion here. So I had to set some things up. Had to go through the, technical difficulties process.
The OBS struggles.
The OBS struggles for sure. Yeah. So, let's see here. Shout out to Toxic Terry's chat. It said, "What's good, JD and Randy? Have a blessed morning, brothers." And he said, "J for Gaimon." So.
Oh God. Have you been saying that? Have you been saying what they're doing to me, man?
Bro, I saw. Bro, I saw the edit that they did, bro.
Oh my God!
Like that I couldn't believe it. It was the Mother C OST for me, and it wasn't even you. It wasn't even you talking. It was the fact that they went. Shout out to official DJ. It was the fact that they did the pan of the Straw Hats looking at you with the music.
I was so upset because I'm like, I wanted to be mad, but I'm like, this is such a good edit, and I just have to take the L. I just knew it. I said I just had to take this one. I can't. I lost completely. It was great. It was a great edit, but oh my god, these guys, man.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I had to fix my audio there. I was peaking a bit. Wow. Yeah. And then I saw, they got the images for you.
They're not stopping either. It's gonna keep going, especially with this live action coming out now too. Everyone's like, "Oh, Jay, you should be Blackbeard. You should be Gaimon." I'd love to be. First of all, I watched your clip. Not your clip. I watched your video, and I watched a few of the clips of the actors. So I'm assuming you want to get into that, but I do have some interesting thoughts on that.
And I want to hear them, man. I mean, obviously this is unprecedented time. Not only do we have, of course, the whole 1031 stuff, but now we also finally got the cast for the live action. Now I've put out a bunch of content from that, and I want to thank everybody that came to the stream for that. I want to thank everybody that's already watched the video that I put out with all of the clips. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I put clips of all the actors doing their things so you get a little more of a feel for what's going on. And when the news came out, I know that a lot of people were reticent, mostly about Sanji and Luffy. People have been talking about Emily Rudd for a while. Most people know who McKenyu is, and a lot of people were sold on Usopp straight from the video that they put on Twitter. So, but then it was like, Luffy, we need to see him menacing, so I got that. I got your clips for that. So you can go and you can see that for sure. And then Sanji, I went, watched his reel, watched one of his short films, put those into the video, and I mean, I think he's gonna crush it. I think the man knows how to act. I like that he's also a playwright. So he's sort of, he's thinking about, he understands the process beyond just being an actor, which I feel is always important. And I don't know, but what do you think, man?
I would say I have a lot of skepticism, just because, again, anime live action, we've been burned before. Dragon Ball Evolution, Death Note, the Avatar: Last Airbender was terrifying. But I think just because we've kind of had like an insider's look into like Matt Owens with the Reverie, we know One Piece, inside out, and we know that the author loves One Piece inside out. He's a Sanji fan. I mean, come on, that's already a good sign. So like, yeah, you have that, and then I guess from that moment on, condensing One Piece. How many episodes is the
10?
The first thing 10, right?
Yeah.
Condensing. I think they're gonna go through all of East Blue, maybe if that's what they're gonna do.
But that's what I'm suspecting. People are saying,
yeah.
I'm inverted. I'm gonna try and see what I can do to fix that. I think if I just do that, there we go. Now I'm real.
Yeah. I think how they're gonna condense that in 10 episodes means you have to like change your expectations and don't expect it to be a carbon copy. Look for all the famous moments that you want to find or the little intricacies. You have to really take it as its own work of art that kind of summarizes the story that you love. And with that mindset, I'm hoping, I don't want it doesn't have to be absolutely incredible. To me, I'm hoping that it's just good. Right? That's it. I just want it to be good. I told people on my stream, give me a 6 out of 10 and I'm perfectly okay. Like, I am very satisfied because I know One Piece, the full One Piece thing is always going to be great. No problem. As long as I get something enjoyable. One way I can compare it is if you look at the Justice League with the Snyder's cut. Right? I wouldn't go home and say it's better than Infinity War or Endgame, but it was a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Great watch, enjoyable, gave me everything I needed. Same thing with Aquaman, right? With Jason Momoa. Gave me just exactly what I needed. I didn't need anything else. I'm good. So that's what I'm really hoping for with the One Piece live action, right? And then with the characters, I'm glad you showed all those clips because it kind of gave me some insight. First of all, what's the actor for Zoro? I don't know how to pronounce his name. McKenyu,
yeah.
McKenyu. that Rioni Kenshin clip, the sword fighting, I'm like, all right, he's good. I was like, he's gonna be fine. He's fine. He's fine. Not even worried about him. Like he's nah. Luffy's the one I'm most skeptical about, obviously, because he's gonna carry the show. And I don't know if you heard. Apparently, he hasn't read One Piece and he's doing research. Is that true, or has that been debunked?
Look, here's the thing, man. All right, like as far as that is concerned, I don't. The only person out of that cast that I'm sure knows what's going on with One Piece, has read it, and all of that is the actress playing Nami, Emily Rudd, right? So most actors that are coming into this are going to have to catch up. They're going to have to understand what's going on. They're going to have to read and catch up. This kid's only 18. Like he probably didn't know what One Piece was, until auditioning for the role. But that doesn't mean that you're not able to take on the role. That doesn't mean that you're not able to understand it and all of that. I've seen enough from him to where I understand why he was cast.
Okay.
Right? So I went out, I checked the Netflix show. It's a Spanish language show out of Mexico called Who Killed Sarah? So I skimmed through the whole season. I was watching every scene this kid was in. He wasn't in a lot, but I took the best things that I could find and I put that into the video that I had. And I was like, okay, I see the menacing side of it. You know, his character was a little meek in that, but the whole point is that when you're an actor, you should be able to play different things. So we see his personality in that clip that they put online. You go on his Instagram, you see his personality. He's got that Luffy joyful thing. Everything else, you're still going to be able to get that. 1 second, let me just hit some super chats real quick. Shout out to Carl Revel. He said, thanks for streaming on my birthday. Happy birthday, man. He said, hashtag heat on feet.
Go.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
Got Wheezy Bird said, Randy, did you know that Jay gets low diffed by a zebra?
I'm not getting low diffed by a zebra. Mid diff.
You know what's funny, right? Because I follow Jay on Twitch. I've been getting the notifications since we did the the Sanji Summit. I popped into the thing where you're doing the whole animal tier list thing, and it was just like, bro, is this what's happening?
It was the most random time. I was like, yo, of course, Randy, out of all the streams he comes, that's the one he comes to. Me talking about fighting turtles and cheetahs and all kinds of other animals.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Shout out to Azal, said, I work as a theater director in Canada. Gotta say, this is a fabulous cast. Not just individually, but all 5 together will just work. I completely agree with you. And, I can share some of my thoughts now about the live-action Cowboy Bebop, because I have seen it. Big thank you to Netflix for... sending me the screeners earlier in the month, and I really enjoyed it. Now, is it perfect? No, and I'll get into why when after we finish this stream. I'm actually going to record my review that'll come out on Monday, spoiler free. And I'm not going to get into everything about it, but it got everything right that One Piece needs to get right. Like as far as like character and tone and understanding the world. Like it changes a lot of the plot, I would say, it flips and twists things and in directions that if you're a diehard Cowboy Bebop fan and you've seen it and you remember the things that happened, you're going to say, oh, that's not how it happened.
Yeah. Some
of it works. Some of it, I was like, I don't know about that one. But the thing is that they had to... The difference between Cowboy Bebop and One Piece, which I can see a lot of people taking what I just said, and when they see the show understanding what I'm saying and then using that as a detriment to One Piece. But the thing is that Cowboy Bebop is a show that has 26 episodes. So they had to actually pad out a lot of stuff and add things because they want... I think their expectation is multiple seasons. Whereas if they had done a 1-to-1 of Cowboy Bebop, they could have finished it in one season completely. So there's a lot of new material in it. One Piece is going to have to do the same thing. It's going to focus on other characters that we may not see. Like I imagine, like the cover stories will be a big help. Like when the show is going on, they're we're gonna cut back to Buggy, we're gonna cut back to Kobe a lot, I imagine.
Yep.
Because that's how you denote time difference when you're writing a script. So you cut to a different scene, you come back, now they've finished what they're working on. Like, oh, they're setting up the traps in Syrup Village, on the wrong hill. Cut to Kobe. What's Kobe up to? Okay. Then we come back. They finished. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I fully expect to see happen with that. And that's the kind of stuff that Cowboy Bebop does with other characters that aren't Spike, Jet, and Faye. People will see that when they watch the show. Now, where were we? I know we were talking about Luffy and we were talking about Sanji, and I think I kind of ran around one of the questions that we had, and I don't know if I focused in on exactly what we needed.
Yeah, because we were talking about Luffy, and about how not all of the actors of all watched One Piece or read One Piece. The only one that really has is Emily, and I'm pretty sure that is common, in the acting world. Like, they probably just do the research and then get accustomed to the role, so it'll take time. Do you think that's going to be in Emily's favor, that she is a huge One Piece fan? Do you think, because it sounds to me like that would almost
I think it's going to be in our favor.
Okay.
Like, I think that it's going to be in our favor. We're going to get that much of a... She's already got a leg up. She knows that she knows that she knows the importance of that help me scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be the climax of the whole first season, in my opinion. So she knows the importance of that, but it's up to the rest of the cast to understand the importance of that, because it's not all on her.
Yeah.
So, Inyaki's off to a good start. That's the dude playing Luffy. I saw his Instagram post. He's got the first 3 volumes. Really, he should have.
All of them.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, really, all he really needs to read right now is all of East Blue and the ASL flashback.
Yes.
Do
you think they would bring some stuff from the ASL flashback into the live action early? Do you think they would do that?
I absolutely do think that they would do something like that, and I think it would be in their benefit and to even like give us glimpses of that way ahead of time. Like, if they find the time, because they're already compressing East Blue, but I fully expect hints to Ace and Sabo, like when we are in that like Shanks bit as well. It could be anything as simple as Makino saying something offhand because she knows all of them, right?
Yep.
So that's the kind of things, the foreshadowing that they're able to layer in now. It's a lot, but there's plenty that they can do. But I don't think that they should wait until Marineford to give us the ASL flashback, because then they're going to have to hire a completely new child to play Luffy.
Yeah.
As a kid. So it's in their favor to just knock it out, because they know what's going to happen. It would help Iñaki in his performance to understand Luffy even more and where he's coming from and like all of that. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay, I'll keep my fingers crossed with Iñaki, because I know, again, he's got a lot of eyes on him. I'll say that for sure. He's got, I mean, the One Piece community is huge.
He's the show.
So it's like, that's a lot of pressure. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be in this position, honestly, because, the One Piece fans, they love their Luffy. And if Luffy is off, the show literally hangs on his performance. Like, that's a lot of pressure. But the thing is with those big pressure moments, if he knocks it out the park, he's immediately the GOAT. Like, immediately. He can either be absolute, oh, this is my hero, this is like Chadwick Boseman #2, like Black Panther type, you know what I mean? So, like,
yeah.
There's basically, if we're going to be honest, this has the same hype around it that Black Panther did, in the sense that we needed Black Panther to be great, right? We needed it, and it was. And the guy who played Black Panther was so iconic that he is now in lore, legend. Like, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, everybody remembered all of his work. I watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Oh my God, what a performance. Like, my God, right? So, like, the same thing with this Luffy kid, Iñaki. Basically, if it works, because everyone has expectations, we want it to hit. If he knocks it out of the park, he's gonna get so much more acting roles. I just genuinely believe it. Just because One Piece fandom has that type of power to make things spread and everyone will see it. And it's on Netflix too. You get the casuals in the One Piece, and there's already a big community. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty tough. And I know some people are saying expectations way too high. It's not that my expectations are high. I'm just saying there's a lot of pressure on whoever's playing Luffy.
I think I think the thing is that a lot of people's expectations are unrealistic in the sense that, yes, this is for us, but it's more so for people that haven't seen anything from One Piece at all. That's they're going to cater to us in the sense, like, I'm sure there's going to be like, we're going to be watching and there's going to be like OST that will sound memorable, orchestrated differently, but things like that, you know. I mean, like if Bebop is any, because like the lot of memories with the OST.
Was that me?
What's that?
Oh, you cut out a little. Maybe I got Bodega on my side. That's why.
Nah. I just got a funny text message. So,
okay.
I'm just gonna say I would never.
Fair enough.
But shout out to Brandon King. Also, he said, "You think Alvida getting slim will cause controversy?"
I don't.
Why? What? That's the whole point of the power and all of that.
Yeah,
Anybody that's like, say, anybody who's like goes at that is.
I feel like it would defeat the purpose, though. With Kobe,
you're just proving that like you didn't watch it. You didn't watch it for the right reasons. You don't know the source material. It's like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, Alvida. Yeah, no, Alvida has to be big and ugly. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what's the point of Kobe? And that's a very big part for very specific reasons. It's for Kobe. Alvida's for Kobe. So if we're gonna sacrifice Kobe for the sake of a better looking Alvida, I don't know where we're going with the rest of this.
I'm right with you. Shout out to Azal, said people also are not addressing the budget. Top end shows now are easily over 10 mil an episode. Marvel was 25 mil. My bet is OP will be easily over 10 million an episode. I mean, we have no way of confirming what they're going to put into that, but they understand the importance of this, and they are going to they're going to treat it with care. Look at the people behind it. I mean, yeah. That's the whole thing. Like I've been nothing but positive about this, and that's also because there's been nothing given to us as a community to make us feel like we should feel any other way. The teaser that came out showed the cast. They all had the energy that is right for the roles. The people that are involved with the production are involved with the fandom as well. Like, I mean, you look at, I don't know if you follow Steve Maeda on Twitter and all that stuff, but like that, there's the kid, King Kong Destroyer, I think, or whatever. Every day he draws like he calls it a shitty drawing of, such and such until XYZ comes out about the live action. And he just puts this picture out. The showrunner retweets him.
Wow.
So it's like there's fan engagement, like they're involved. They're listening to us, like especially with Emily Rudd and all of that. Like she was on the top of all the fan casting lists. She was in my original video where I was talking about people that should be considered as well.
Yeah,
she was considered. McKenyu was on that list as well. All of the people that were listed, I've seen them posted in my Discord. I didn't know who a lot of them. I didn't know who Iñaki was. I didn't know who Taz was. I didn't know who Jacob was. But then they were put into my Discord. Taz was like completely brand new to me. But they're gonna do a great job. Let's see what the see what the chat's saying a little bit here. what's the duration of one episode of Cowboy Bebop? Each one was about like 40 to 50 minutes, I'd say.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they were. It was an hour long show, like, essentially. That's
And how many episodes did they have?
10. 10.
Oh, so the One Piece would be the same then.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's the thing. It's also the same production company. So like when you watch Cowboy Bebop, you should be able to get a little bit of a feel for it, but at the same time, you got to remember that they're two different animes and they're two different structures of an anime. 26 episodes versus this epic that is, that doesn't necessarily need all of the padding that they put into this Cowboy Bebop show. But the care into the characters and all that, it was top notch. So,
how did was there CGI or was there CG effects in Cowboy Bebop?
Shout out to DC Johnson. Yeah. And the CG was great. The swordfish looked awesome. All of the space stuff was great. The ships looked great. And, there's some like imaging effects that I didn't really, sometimes they tried to do, let's see, because I got to watch how much I can say. In certain aspects of flashbacks and things, they tried to recreate things too one-to-one, I felt, and it, like, some of the filters that they put on things kind of looked weird. But like I said in my tweet, at least 7 out of the 10 episodes I thought were really solid. There's one that I really wasn't feeling, and I think that the community also is probably going to have a problem with that same episode, but probably not for the same reasons that I do. But that's all stuff that I'll get into when I can talk more about it.
Okay. So then the reason I ask is because with the gum fruit and how they're going to animate that. That's one of the things that I've been very curious to see how they're going to pull that out. Will they take inspiration from Mr. Fantastic for Fantastic Four? Because it's been done before. Like, what are you expecting with that CG?
So I'm expecting them to, like, Luffy's power is the main power. So they're going to be devoting most of their CG budget to, aside from creating the world around them, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of blue and green screen stuff, but Luffy's power is the main power, so they have to get that right. And we've come a long way in technology since, we saw the Fantastic Four stretching and all of that, and like the CW Flash had elongated man, and then there was the Tick that also had Stephen Ogg's character, like he did stretching. On the Boys, they had a character that was stretching as well. So whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to revolutionize the stretching ability, because they're going to have to find ways to do it and then make it even more cost effective while still looking great, because it's going to be so pervasive throughout the seasons and all that. I'm not necessarily worried about things like that. It's more, I think the question around CGI is going to be when they get to season 2, and it's just like, all right, which decision are they going to go around with Chopper? And that's, I'm sure they've probably already had conversations like that, and it's just, are they going to go full CG? Are they going to get a kid and go sweet tooth with it? There's so many different ways that, that can go, but then if you go full CGI, then you can't, then you have to like budget your shots, and you have to look at things and say like, all right, we know that Chopper is, the choreography of the scene is going to be on this side, so when we cut to that, that's going to be, that shot, and whoever's standing next to him is going to get less screen time, because they're going to want to cut to that shot as few times as possible, and then reserve budget for, Chopper episodes. Those are the sort of like those are sort of the conversations behind things like that. Like I use this example a lot, but when I worked on Terminator Genesis years ago, they were taking a guy Brett Azar, and they were putting Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on him. And it was sort of revolutionary at the time because the only thing that they had done was, I think it was the Tron, was it Tron Legacy? Tron something, the one where they de-aged Jeff Bridges. So that was kind of like the first time that they were doing that, but that was like them doing it to the actor. This was putting a face on another actor, and it was like basically the first time that was being done to this extent. And I said to the VFX guy, because I mean I was, you know, like the idea of it was just sort of like wild to me. I was just like, how long is this gonna take? You know, like this is intense.
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, bro, this movie comes out on July 4th. I'm probably gonna turn this in on July 3rd.
Wow.
Like VFX, it's a lot, but you know, we've seen the technology grow. I don't know what they're going to do. None of us know what they're going to do. You know, if they're going to go the Mandalorian route, which if you check out some behind the scenes stuff for Mandalorian, there's, you know, very interesting techniques and ways that they've created expansive worlds using LED and stuff. You know, that would be fun to see and all of that. But overall, man, I'm excited, and you know, that's like you said, man, like it just I think it's gonna be great, but all it really needs to is to be good.
Agreed. I think one thing that I'm back to the actors for a second, because I liked looking at Skylar, Taz Skylar, and the emotional scene he had.
Yeah.
I did like the range. I did see the witty banter. I'm trying to pinpoint. I keep thinking he's French, but then he also sounds really British. Where's he from originally?
So I mean I think he I think he's based out of London, because there's a guy that comes in his streams, Ruby B. He knows Taz in real life. I know he's in London, so I'm assuming that he's London based. So, and the accent that he's using in his short film is different than the accent that he's, there's variations. You know, there's different London accents and English accents. I mean, that he's using in that teaser trailer, and I think what he's giving us in that teaser trailer is potentially something closer to his own voice, closer to maybe the way that he'll go about Sanji. I've said that I think he should keep the accent. He's got a little bit of a thicker accent in the scenes that I put in my video.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently they're saying he's Spanish and based in London, being British grown. Okay, that makes sense.
So he speaks Spanish. I don't think that he's Spanish. I saw that he is Arabic and English.
He's born in Tenerife. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Very multicultural person. From what I'm seeing. Yeah, apparently he's a Spaniard.
Oh, hey, that's great then. Shut up.
I was hoping we get someone French for Sanji, but I'm cool with Spaniard. I'm cool with
it too.
Apparently, so you said in your video he was taking kickboxing classes based on someone that you know said he's taking kickboxing classes. How do you replicate some? I was just thinking about this. This for Zoro and Sanji. 3-sword style. It's wild enough that he fights with a sword in his mouth. You know, the human body. I don't know. Again, this is anime, so it's more feasible. Sanji, his fighting style is extremely acrobatic. So it's more than just kickboxing. So you think he's going to be able to pull off those gymnastics, or are we going to have a stunt double for Sanji's stuff?
Oh, there's definitely going to be stunt doubles involved. All he needs to do is believably move his legs, and then the stunt double will come in and do all of this stuff. Like that's the air flares and capoeira and stuff like that. Like I don't necessarily expect Taz to be able to do that, but they're going to be able to find someone who can do all of that stuff. That is a stunt man. That's usually how things go. So, and they're already getting the benefit of McKenyu, who's going to be able to do a lot of his own stunts. He's going to have a stunt double anyway, for more aggressive things, because that's just how shows work. It doesn't matter, like, unless you're Tom Cruise, like, they're gonna come in and they're gonna say, all right, we're gonna use a stunt double for this shot, you know, and I mean, like, I've done a lot of the stuff that I've done in the film industry is very like I've done a lot of stunt oriented shows, so I know a lot about the way that like stunts work and things like that, and I've done a lot of the stunt units. So it's all he really needs to do is act, and then if he trains enough and all that, he'll if he can get his leg moving up or anything like that, the other guy will come in and take care of the rest.
Okay. That fills me with a little bit more confidence. Still question on the Zoro thing, though. 3-sword style. How do you pull that off in real life?
So that's going to be a combination of multiple departments working together, but the way that I suggested in one of my videos is you make multiple swords, right? Obviously there'll be the regular Wadoichi Manji that he can pull out and he can use, and it's actually a sword. When he puts it into his mouth, you replace it with with another sword that has like a dental dam in it, that's been set to like they'll do like they can do a mold of his teeth,
right,
and put that onto the thing, and then he just needs to fit that in, and then he'll be able to hold it a little easier.
Okay.
And then and then that may or may not have a hilt. It may only be the hilt, and they'll CGI the sword in. Because they do that. They do that with a lot of things. Like even the show Arrow never actually had him firing any arrows. All those arrows in that show is all CGI. Every arrow he shoots, he never shoots a real arrow.
That's fair. I guess I can't just assume the actor is just some elite archer who can shoot from like across the city.
Yeah, well, I mean that's also a safety thing. You don't want it to go in the wrong place and hit somebody, man. So. So then, and then they can also have one that does have a sword on it if they want, for any scenes where he's just standing, so that they don't have to do all that extra stuff. But if he's like moving around and like fighting somebody with it, I don't think the sword's actually going to be there. Let me hit some super chats here. Shout out to Azal, said, I'm not worried about CGI. I think the direction and structure will be the ones to do right. I have many thoughts and my optimism is through the roof. Hey, yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that got to come together, and I think that I have the optimism that it will. Let's see. Shout out to Azal again. Said Taz, born on Canary Island, moved to UK at age 15. Copy that. Barry also answered, Taz was born on the Canary Islands to a British mom and Arabic dad, based out of London, speaks fluent Spanish from the Canary Islands. Love it.
Very multicultural.
I love it. I mean, that's perfect for Sanji.
Yeah, I agree.
Wayne Jr., excellent live discussion. Do you think the live-action One Piece will adapt the manga or anime more? For example, Zeph losing his foot or eating it. Also, we need Morgan Freeman as the One Piece narrator.
That would be great.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be perfect.
I don't know if that's going to be key. I mean, just get Ragnar.
Might as well. I'm about to say, I don't know if they can afford Morgan Freeman just for the sake of narration.
Right. Yeah. Maybe get Keith David.
Now, Keith David, well, that's a voice actor. Yeah. I'd be here for that. I would be here for that.
I think since it's Netflix and they're a little more edgy, I think they'll go with the manga version of Zeph doing the foot thing. But I mean, none of us can say for sure. I think as far as like adapting manga versus anime, I could see something where the pilot, in the same vein as the first episode of the anime, introduces Nami earlier. Mm. Because that's sort of a way that, in television and all of that, you want to introduce people to as many characters as possible quickly. So whether, that doesn't necessarily mean that the story needs to change for Luffy, Zoro, and Nami to meet earlier, just that we cut to them and we get introduced to them via some sort of other scene. And that lets us know that we may run into this character later on. So I could see stuff like that. And then there's gonna be a lot of stuff where they're doing their own thing, and that'll be all right. Shout out to Choco Kayla Robbins, said, not sure if you'll be able to talk about it here, but is the choreography good for Cowboy Bebop? Yeah, I loved it. There's a great fight in episode 2 or 3, and there's some other great fights about, but like that's one of the standouts for me. There's a lot of fighting, especially on Zoro and Sanji. Y'all are awesome, by the way. Hashtag Sanji Gang.
Sir.
And shout out to Bweezy Bird, said, if it's successful, YouTubers are going to grow big.
It's true. That is true. Especially for you, Randy, this is a big deal, I would say. This is like it's like Bleach coming back for Tekken. That's how I see it. But like the live action is like your baby when it comes to like content and like right up your alley with all your theater background and whatnot, your film industry background.
And I have a lot of fun talking about it too, though. That's the whole thing. Because I mean, the other thing is, it's like I've thought about this for a long time. We had topics on Arlong Park in the early 2000s where we used to go back and forth and like fan cast back then and talk about ways to do things. But it was, we were always thinking about it from the structure of how would they make a movie, right? Because no one was really like, obviously doing it as television makes more sense, but this was before like shows like Breaking Bad really kicked open the door for television, and we start thinking about movies, who to cast. It's like this is stuff that we've thought about for many years, and I've always even just working on sets thought about like, okay, well, how would this apply? Because obviously think about One Piece a lot, maybe too much.
Yeah.
All of us probably do. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Who was I on Arlong Park? I was one of the original administrators, Randy 1031.
Randy 1030. Oh, on Arlong Park. Is that like a forum or something?
It was the first fan site in America, man.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of the guys from the One Piece podcast, are like old heads from the Arlong Park days. Alex on the One Piece podcast, he went by the Dude back then. He was one of the other admins back then.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of early lore, back in the Kaisuke fansub days as well. Nerd King 101, off topic, but what if Shanks goes to Luffy for help with Blackbeard, assuming the world government refuses to help, since he's a great pirate now that's beaten Kaido? Personally, I don't think that Luffy would ever like ask Shanks for help. I think that would sort of clash with the idea of being a great pirate. Sort of, I think that everything that he's doing is to prove something to Shanks, that like, oh, you didn't want me on your crew, so I'm gonna do it without you. I'm gonna show this to you. I mean, I'd see it would be. Oh, you know what? Actually, I read this wrong. I thought you said, what if Luffy goes to Shanks? 'Cause I was just about to say, it would make more sense if Shanks went to Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, yeah, I could maybe see that.
Interesting. That is an interesting take. Because if the world government does just choose to ignore what Shanks says, he would think Luffy's capable. Then I'd wonder, who is the pirate that's so fearsome that even Shanks isn't capable of dealing with him? And why would Luffy be able to? I mean, if he beats Kaido, then I guess, right? Because strongest creature in the world, you'd think Luffy. Maybe Shanks one of my theories is Shanks is well aware of the Joy Boy prophecy, and he's kind of holding out on all this information, and he probably knows Luffy is the most likely candidate, so it would have to be Luffy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I like the idea. I like the theory. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I'm in the camp that thinks that there's like fate involved with everything that happened with Marineford, and like I think Shanks could have stopped in earlier before Ace died and didn't.
Yeah, he only stopped it when Luffy was about to die.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Emil Diaz said, "Big question: eyebrows or no eyebrows for the show?" I don't think it's I don't think it's that hard to make an application for the eyebrow. I think that's actually one of the easiest things to do, along with giving Luffy his scar each day. I think the harder thing would be nose or no nose for Usopp, and I'm in the camp that's like I don't really think he needs the nose.
Yeah, same. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking that as well. I was like, okay, they could do the nose, but I think he looks like a great Usopp already.
Certified drip.
So I don't know.
It's about to get spicy.
Shout out to Fable. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you.
Big Fable.
Yeah, he said thanks to both of you for putting this together.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Momo asked, what am I looking forward to most? I am looking forward to seeing Arlong. I just feel like CGI and Fishman with the design that Arlong has already, I think it can look really interesting. I'm very interested in Arlong Park. Very, very interested in Arlong Park because
that's the thing I'm looking forward to. Anybody who asks me, I say the help me moment, which goes along with Arlong.
And I actually think it is like the most adaptable of the One Piece arcs in terms of like live action. I think Arlong Park would translate the best in a live action format, I think, out of all the arcs that we have so far. Because there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of CG that you don't have to go crazy with it. We've all seen it before. You've seen it. So it's like the Fishman will be interesting. That'll be engaging. Nami's struggles, conflicts, seeing Nojiko. Oh my God, like
Nami's backstory is gonna
the Bell Mare scene. Oh, they're gonna kill it. You know it. You know it. Oh my God, they're gonna kill it because I'm seeing it now, and it's perfect, honestly.
And I'll say it once more for all the people in the back. Bokeem Woodbine for Arlong, please.
What's his name?
Bokeem Woodbine.
Bokeem. How do you spell it?
Bokeem. You're gonna know. You're gonna know him when you see him.
Oh, this guy.
That's who I want, man.
Wasn't he in The Sopranos too?
He maybe.
He was. He was like that rapper in The Sopranos that ran into Chris and Adriana.
I honestly I haven't finished The Sopranos, man. Like I've only seen a little bit of it. It's in my my blind spot.
I'm about to say, I feel like you would be the one who would watch Sopranos, Randy. I'm a little shocked here.
Yeah, I mean it's been on the list for so long, man. But there's other things, man. Other things.
All right, Randy's gonna have to take an L for that one, chat. But he's the same guy. He's the same guy.
Yeah. Azal super chatted again, said, I had been thinking about starting a channel for years. Now we'll do that soon. I wish more people were talking about the creative side of adapting a live action. Hey, well, I'm here for that. There's a lot of people that have been talking about it in the past week, so everybody's eating for content on that.
Yes, sir.
And I always support anybody for starting a channel. Go for it.
Agreed.
Let's see. And then we got Choco Kayla Robbins said, what is one positive y'all are most excited about for the live action wise and one negative? Also, do y'all really think Sanji hurt that woman in the chapter? Yeah, so, I mean, that's definitely a big topic to get into for us.
Yep.
I think I've talked about everything that I'm most excited about for the live action. Especially, we were just talking about, we actually answered that. We said both of us want Arlong Park. I think the negative is really the community and the response to it. That's the thing that I'm not looking forward to. And it's the toughest thing navigating when you're actually trying to be positive about it as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping they just give it a chance. Like, I'm just hoping they give it at least, even if the first episode isn't the greatest, things can always improve as well. Like most introductory episodes normally take time to kind of like get you settled in. We've already read the story, so we don't have to be introduced into the plot. So they're going to be jumping on it early.
This is for the people that need to be introduced to the plot.
Exactly. They need to be introduced. We already know the plot, so we're probably going to be a little bit more lenient.
I think.
Well,
they're-
actually, no. I think we'd be less lenient than the other people who would actually watch it.
with the way the budgets work and the way the television works, they're going to go off for the pilot, and then they're going to go off for the finale, and then it's going to be like the anime, really. Like you got Sakuga. There's going to be scenes that are going to be like, Mihawk versus Zoro is going to be like really intense, and then some other things are going to be a little, less heavy on the budget.
Yeah.
So anyway, about Sanji hurting the woman, that's a big no for me. How about you, my
Hard
man?
no. Hard no. Hard no. I don't think he did it, and I think if Oda did make that happen, I know maybe he blacked out and accidentally hit her, I think that would destroy his character, and I would be.
Facts.
I think Sanji's ideals are what make him who he is, and if he just changes it out like that, I like the inner conflict. I like the introspective outlook on his philosophy and how it can actually harm the Straw Hats, right? Because he's saying he's useless when it comes to women. If he was a soldier of science, he'd be able to do whatever Luffy needed him to do.
But that's not what Luffy wants.
Yeah, and that's not what Luffy wants, but him facing that and acknowledging that it's a flaw and a weakness is good. And then him deciding he's going to do things his own way and sticking to his ideals makes his ideals more appealing to me, a reader, because he's challenged them and they've been challenged and he understands the drawbacks and he still chose them anyway. To me, that is who Sanji is. That is like it. Oh, to me, that's what typifies Sanji's character is that specific moment with that inner dialogue. And if he actually hits that woman, it kind of spits on the decision of him stepping on the raid suit, because then if you hit her,
you might as well put the suit on.
You might as well just use the raid suit then.
Yeah, because you're already giving up on all of your ideals. You might as well just accept your family then.
Yeah.
I there's also, and I've pointed it out, there's like a little indication area in that panel where he's running towards the girl, and that sort of reminds me of the Flampe situation with Katakuri and Luffy. I think that someone interfered with that, and that something else hurt her, or someone hit Sanji and it ricocheted, because now his body is bulletproof, so he probably would ricochet a bullet or anything like that. But it's more on the deeper level of Sanji's like psychological journey that he's going on right now, where he doesn't know if he's going to lose his emotions. We don't know if he's going to lose his emotions. I don't think that Oda is going to go that route with his character, because I just feel like that would be sort of a real backwards way of everything that we had in Whole Cake, and it would go against like pretty much everything we were talking about in the first Sanji summit. That's like Sanji's defining characteristic is his kindness. So you can't, if he throws that out, then what is what is his character? That's what even Luffy says to him, like you're kind. Like that's what he likes about Sanji. It wasn't even it's the reason Sanji joined the crew, not because that he could cook, but that he gave food to Gin. So it makes sense that Sanji's having this sort of existential crisis of what man do you want, Luffy, but what it also does is sort of it means that Sanji needs a reminder of who Luffy actually is.
Yeah.
Because he wants to, or a reminder of what Luffy's convictions are to get to his dream. He's not going to sacrifice Sanji's kindness. He's not going to sacrifice Sanji as a person just to get his dream. It's the same reason he threw his dream away to go and, get Sanji back, get Robin back, do all of this stuff. So he didn't hit that woman. But we're going to find out what happened.
No way. I'd be very disappointed if he did too.
And I was going to bring this up, but Yamil super chatted and asked that, do you think that Sanji actually turned invisible?
No. I don't, just because then again, I would have to see a precedent for that with the other raid suits with Reiju and Yonji and Ichiji and Niji. What I know is that they have their elemental, whatever elemental thing that they have, like the Henry Needle and the Tachyon lasers and Yonji's earth abilities and poison. That elemental stuff is what I'm expecting to see. I think Hell's Memories coming out now. I think Hell's Memories is going to become a regular thing now. I don't think it's just, I mean, it's based on his emotions, but I think his whole body will turn on fire. I think that's going to be his power up, that the Germa genes, now that have been unlocked, his latent ability with fire is going to come to his full potential. Him vanishing, I need to know what's going on there, because why would he only wear it twice and then he starts vanishing? Where is that coming from, Oda? Where was that foreshadowed? And then on top of that, I like the fact that Sanji's not invisible anymore, just because I'm not a fan of the way he uses it from time to time. You know, and the bathhouse was a little cringe for me. I think when you're younger, it's funny, but as you get older, you kind of look at it, you're just like,
yeah. But it's also it's also you know a regional thing, a cultural thing. Like the Japanese readers find that stuff way funnier than like we do. So that's sort of where that comes from. I too am sort of iffy on whether he went invisible. My immediate thought was he just went really fast, like when he attacked Oven to save Chiffon, and then like that's when like Pound got caught up with all of his stuff. But then a lot of people were bringing up that the sound effect is the same sound effect that when you look at the Raw, it's the same sound effect that we see with Shiryu in that act break scene. So I'm sure someone probably sent that to you as well.
yes,
yeah. So I agree with you, like, because if you look at all of his other family members, right? The way that they are using their abilities, it's like they are producing something, which is why I've always said that Sanji's fire is in line with all of that. If Niji can produce electricity, then it makes sense that Sanji can produce fire, and that's what he got. That was his elemental lineage factor manipulation thing. Like that's what he got. Now this stealth thing isn't necessarily him producing something. It's him like changing completely, and that's the only that sort of thing is something we've only seen with devil fruits. So for Sanji to have that ability, not that I would be entirely opposed to it, it's just sort of unrealistic based on the absurd rules that Oda has already set in this world. It just doesn't feel in line with everything else. So that's why it's not as easy for me to like get on board with it or understand. But, in that case, we would still need some sort of understanding of just Germatech in general. We need that Judge flashback. We need that Mads flashback. I haven't felt like this, honestly, since Thriller Bark, when we started seeing Kuma's abilities and then trying to understand how Kuma could teleport people, but then also take people's pain away and then make these like shock waves. And it was like the whole community on the forums back then when that was weekly. I can't remember if you were weekly then or not, but
I just started to become weekly at Thriller Bark.
All right, so then you probably remember the conversations. Like people were like, how does Kuma have all of these abilities in his one fruit? Now later we learned a lot of that stuff was because of the manipulations that were done to his body, modifications as a robot and stuff. But even then, still, some of those aspects of his power are just sort of strange.
So his devil fruit was amplified? Is that his devil fruit usage was amplified? Is that it? Or
no, I'm not saying that. I have no way of knowing that, but it sort of reminds me of that, where there were all of these powers molded into this one fruit that didn't necessarily gel, and kind of still to this day don't for me in a way. But I've gotten over that, but this is the way I feel again. Like if Sanji is getting all of that, it's strange. But I mean, you go back to Enies Lobby and all of that, reading that weekly as well, and sort of like, okay, Ashura, where did this come from? Gear, where did this come from? Oh, offhand comment about the fight with Aokiji. All right. Fata Morgana. Okay. Monster Point, that made sense. And Diable Jambe made sense. Those were like the two out of those power-ups that like were the easiest to get by. Okay, he spins around, he turns on fire. Okay, I can get with that. oh, if he eats too many of those, he grows. Okay, that makes sense. Gear second, we had to come up with our own theories about vulcanization in the community to sort of like, because it was never really stipulated by Oda. We just had to like do our own research into the properties of rubber to, and it's really still a fan theory that he's doing vulcanization or anything like that. And we still, and even Ashura, like, how is Zoro doing this?
I've heard he's doing it at will now, apparently, and I was like, are we ever going to understand what that is, or is this something Zoro can just do exclusively? And I'm hoping, I mean, Oda's running out of times to use. I mean, if you use an Hokkaido, the last person you got to use it on now is Shiryu Mihawk.
Exactly.
And those are the last two that are even worthy, because Zoro should be beating anybody now at this point, besides those two.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I would say with the Kuma thing, I'm a huge fan of Kuma's Devil Fruit, because to me, it's a very simple concept that is applied in so many ways that you just wouldn't think would be applied. Just the fact that he can repel anything means that depending on how hard he swings, the potency of the paw, like whatever that is, repelling, you can just not even teleport. You're smacking people so far. It's even when Zoro
for 2 days.
2 days, and even when Zoro put his sword on his paws, he literally just jumped off. Like, think about like a magnet repelling, like kid using repel. It's not even like he actually like hit a wall. He just bounced like backwards completely. And I'm just like, okay, this guy can do crazy stuff to the point. I think it's awakening that he can actually repel like fatigue and stuff like that. I think that's an awakening.
That's a good point.
Because it's very similar to Law's anesthesia that he used on Big Mom.
Yeah, I think anytime something like flips something, like if he's repelling from the outside and then he goes inside and draws something out, like that's got to be the awaken. Yeah,
it has to be. Yeah, so I think it's an awakened fruit. With Sanji, it seems before. I mean, we like the simplicity of him. He's a guy who kicks really hard, man, and has fire in his legs. Now he's a guy who turns on fire and he can go invisible, and he's basically a cyborg. I don't know. It's he's becoming a lot more nuanced, and he's actually a lot more complex of a character, kind of now in fighting style, character wise. Like, he's a very deep character. Like, out of all the Straw Hats, I think he's the deepest character we have. I think one person you could argue, well, even then, maybe Jinbei, right? Maybe Jinbei. Because I've been a huge proponent of this Fishman Island. If you take out what you didn't like about Fishman Island and you focused us on the Fishman, Society, Jinbei, Arlong, Fisher, Tiger, those guys, all three of them, very, very deep characters. Very deep.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a fantastic flashback.
Yeah.
The thing that bogs Fishman Island down is how much Oda is trying to set up in that arc, and that stuff is going to have a payoff when we get to when we come back around. The Charlie prophecy, all of that stuff. Hody didn't work for me as a villain as much, but did for some. But I mean, but the work that was put into Fisher Tiger, the work that was put into Jinbei, was great. I still feel like one of the weakest things for me in that arc, and I'll always say this, is that I feel like the conversation between Jinbei and Nami should have been handled differently. Maybe privately, a little more dialogue, couple more pages spent on it, because realistically, it's sort of like there's a little more nuance than the way that I'm going to say it right now, but to a certain extent you could read through it and it's just like, yeah, your boy killed my mom. All right, let's go. And it's just...
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because I think one of Sanji's worst moments is actually him interjecting between Nami and Jinbei. I think that's one of Sanji's worst moments.
That's one of the things I'm getting at, too, is that's why I said, it really should have been them privately.
And I agree with that. I was like, if it was private, we would have avoided that and it that only served to make Sanji look bad. In my opinion, actually, I don't think it benefited anything at all. I always say like that is one time where if someone hated Sanji, I would understand them hating Sanji in that moment because it was just wrong. It had nothing to do with him. Stay out of it. It's Nami. It's him and Nami. Like I agree. Like maybe even in that what's the name of the fort? The Sea Forest? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
If they talked in like the Sea Forest in front of like the poneglyph, I feel like that would be
That
very
it,
nice.
it had the potential to be one of the most emotionally resonant moments in the whole series, and then Sanji interrupting that, and then them just going on from it and just putting it behind them.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing where something like the live action has an opportunity to rectify that and do it differently if they choose, and handle things a little differently, because at the same time they're going to have to compress things and alter things to get to where they need to go. And as long as they keep the characters right and the themes correct, it can be great. Let me hit some super chats here. Big shout out to the over 600, almost 650 people in here, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for joining. Like, comment, subscribe. Zal said, thoughts on music? My take is rearranging the original OST with some new compositions. I think you talked about this in one of your vids. Yeah, so one of the benefits of the Cowboy Bebop live action is that they actually got the composer from the show back, so everything like from a music standpoint sounds like Cowboy Bebop. If they can do something like that, like I don't expect them to be working as closely with Toei to get those OSTs, and it's never going to be exactly Toei doesn't usually like rearrange their arrangements. Like it's sort of like they just plop the OST in and like let it hit the moment that they want it to hit. When you're making a television show, they're going to have to orchestrate that to hit multiple moments. So I think we're going to hear elements and we'll be like, oh, you know what, this is, oh, that's Overtaken. Oh, wow, that's Mother C, like kind of, but it's a new arrangement of it. I think like that's, that would be cool. And that would, be them playing to us. God Complex, do you think we can have an all-star ensemble for the Red Hair Pirates, given how scarcely they appear? It'd give them a lot of presence and build-up. So the thing with that is a lot of the major characters, that's where they're going to be able to like spend a little extra, as long as they can get people to commit to like, hey, you're going to have to come back, a couple episodes each season, or realistically like a couple of days each season, because it doesn't take very long to shoot a Shanks scene, and it's where they could get a higher ticket character for that, higher ticket actor. I've seen a lot of people talk about Sebastian Stan. I was recently saying like a high ticket pick that would be pretty cool would be like Oscar Isaac. Also, a top choice is Milo Ventimiglia, I think. But Sandhill Ramamurthy would be good as well. The big villains of each arc, or act, that's where they can get that person that's going to also bring people into the show. I think they're going to go big for Shanks, though. I think that's important.
Shanks got to be very, very important. I'll comment on the villains. Have you've seen the original Avatar? Well, not the original, but you've seen Avatar, right? The James Cameron movie.
Absolutely.
So the evil general guy. Do you remember him?
Yeah, the military dude.
Yeah, the military guy.
Yeah.
I think he could play a great Don Krieg.
Ooh, Krieg. Ooh.
I can see him being a very good Don Krieg, actually.
A little older than I was thinking for Krieg, but like if you're gonna go that old for Krieg, I would say just get Clancy Brown at that point. Clancy Brown could also be like a good Whitebeard or something like that too. Clancy Brown's
he'd be a great Whitebeard.
Yeah, I mean, if they really wanted to drop some money, like Josh Brolin would be.
But that's you get Thanos to be. Hey,
that's a pipe dream right there. But I mean, just imagine the Thanos voice coming out of Whitebeard. Like, I mean, that's
actually, Akainu.
he looks wise, yeah, he would crush that for sure. He's definitely got like he looks like a Kainen, but I'd rather see him as Whitebeard.
That's fair.
And nah, that's cool. I you know, I was thinking they would probably go a little young. My pick for Don Krieg in one of my videos was Chad Coleman.
Chad Coleman.
Yeah, he was Cuddy in The Wire.
I've not seen The Wire.
Oh man, that's an L in the chat for my man.
It's definitely an L in the chat. I'm taking my lumps already. I'm ready to take it. It is what it is.
I took an L for Sopranos. You know, that's your HBO show that you're taking an L on.
Absolutely.
Jeremy XX said, I like the idea that Sanji will be a mix of both parts of a personality, where he becomes the slick ladies man he is supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, you know, if that's what what comes from it all. I like what Yamil Diaz actually said, going back to the invisibility point. Mentioned that invisibility is a production of light, though. So, and that's true. So if his invisibility isn't like full on invisibility, but that he's able to sort of camouflage and mirage himself by using his heat in a different way. You know, sort of like when you're driving.
Oh.
You know, like when you're driving and it's a hot day and like you can't see over that hill, but you're getting that heat haze.
Yep.
Like if Sanji was doing something like that with his flames, then that would be pretty cool.
It's like his body just exudes heat.
Yeah. So
and then because of that extreme heat around him, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's starting to like seem like he's disappearing. That'd be I like that a lot, Yamil.
What if that was the reason why that girl was harmed? That she ran into Sanji and that heat he was exuding off his body actually harmed her.
There's a lot of possibilities, man.
Yeah,
but I know for a fact he did not actually hit that woman, so we can.
No, he did not. No. Absolutely not.
Everybody's favorite OST in the background right now. Let's see. Azal. I'm also very excited to see the costumes. Diana is rumored to be the costume designer, and her work is damn good. And for One Piece, it will be perfect. I'm excited for it too. You know, costume designers love to put their own spin on things. I've worked with a bunch of them. You know, and that's perfectly fine. You know, they're going to keep, you know, the same flair and all of that of what we see, but there's always going to be just a little accoutrement that they're going to add that's going to make it theirs, and that's going to be fun. You know, it's like you can read a ton of Batman comics and have it look the same, but every single Batman in live action has a different outfit, so you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marcos. Thank you, my man. He said Sanji went invisible. The foreshadowing for that is in the name Stealth Black, just like Poison Pink with Reiju. Raid suit activated Sanji's genes, and the ability given to him is to project the background over his body. I mean, you know, who knows? 1032 may come around if it's a Sanji chapter and we get a little more of a, you know, an aspect of it. I'd love to have Queen go into a flashback or something like that and like show us them working on these abilities together. Alex Gregro, do you think the Nidai could be Zoro's birth sword if it turns out that Ushimaru is his father, explaining why he's so keen on blades with curses? Possibly explains Ashura. Well, I think that there's more to be seen for the Nidai, for sure. There was so much emphasis on it in the first act. You know, if the curses, you know, if we get some sort of lore on cursed blades that shows that, like, these curses can manifest, then that's an explanation for Ashura, and I'm here for that. Like, if it's the sword doing it, and it's explained that, like, that's what it is, then I'm here for it. If it's just Zoro, like, just manifesting this out of thin air, I don't know. What do you think, man?
That's always been my thing. So there's a few explanations. One of the ones that I was hoping was true is that maybe it's his expression of his conqueror's haki, right? Maybe that could be, one way. Because when you think about coating your blade in hockey, right? If you can coat your fists in hockey, right, you should be able to coat conqueror's haki on your blade, which is what I think Roger does, and Divine Departure in particular. I don't think that was any ordinary slash. I think that was just a Conqueror's Hockey slash. Now, I'm going off the deep end here. But if Zoro's learning that, the one time Zoro realized, well, he didn't realize, but Kaido said he used Conqueror's Hockey is when he used Ashura. So I'm thinking Ashura should be connected with Conqueror's Hockey to some degree. Unless that Conqueror's Hockey moment was like a fake out, because remember, we haven't harped on that again. So it has to come back. I think Ashura is coming out again, actually. I feel like Zoro's going to use Ashura twice, but this time he's going to remember he can use Conqueror's Haki. And because of his ability to use Conqueror's Haki, Ashura will probably be explained.
That'd be a great way to end that King fight. I'm with you right there, man. I love how one of my favorite things about Zoro is how we can go back to all of his fights pre-time skip and sort of like see how Haki was sort of manifesting there, especially in the Mr. One fight. Yeah. So being able to go back and see, look at the Kaku fight differently, if it's truly that Ashura is, Conqueror's coming out right there, then, it just shows that Zoro was just like really like an arc ahead of Luffy in that sense, just as, multiple if you go back to Alabasta, if he was doing it there as well. Because one of the key things the key panels that I always go back to with Zoro having, like unlocking Haki way sooner than everybody else was when he's in the epilogue of Alabasta. He's sitting on a rock and he's looking at his sword and he's just like, I have to figure out how to draw that power out again. There's no way he beat Daz Bones without, like, at the brink of death, putting Arm and Haki on that sword. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
So, seeing
that Daz Bones fight, man, it just brings up a lot of questions that I have about Zoro's durability. I mean, to me, that's the most punishment he's taken from any combatant.
Facts.
Any.
That's one of the bloodiest fights in the entire series.
He should have died. To me, it makes no sense, especially when when Daz Bones used that attack to cut up the pillars. Yeah, first of all, that should have killed him, period. I'm like, is Zoro's body made of steel and iron? Because that's not feasible. It doesn't make sense to me. And then, bro, he cut pillars. Like, he just did the slash and he cut pillars behind him. So you mean to tell me Zoro's body is more durable than those pillars? I'm like, bro. That's where, because, in Bleach, you see that, right? In Bleach, as a president, people just built different in Bleach. But then again, these are guys from the Soul Society. They're not human beings, right? So I'm like, all right, fair. Zoro's a human being. And it's like, this is pre-time skip, too. Like,
yeah.
If we had
second
Haki
major arc.
Yeah.
Second major arc.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It is insane, bro. It's like Luffy can get punctured casually by a sword. Like, all these guys can get punctured by a sword.
Crocodile.
But God forbid. Crocodile, bro.
Like,
God forbid.
Turning this man.
Didn't Oolong poke a hole into Zoro? Didn't he poke a hole into Zoro's side or something?
Well, I remember him looking at the scar and just being like, "How are you alive?"
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like that was like the one time in the entire Arlong arc that Arlong was actually shook. He was not shook by like any other than Luffy breaking his nose. Like I feel like he was more shook at seeing Zoro's scar than he was even about his nose. And
yeah, he just didn't understand.
It's just like I don't understand this guy.
Now that I think about it, when you think about how that slash must look, to see just a giant slash just right across the entire body and it just sewn together, you think, what kind of demon was he fighting? Like, No human did that, Scar. And then the fact that he's fighting him, a fishman, he's like, yo, he's been talking about how built different he is all arc.
Yep.
And he sees this guy this injury, he's fighting me? I was like, I gotta kill him. I have to kill him. He's gotta die. Like, yo, Arlong was so ready to kill Zoro.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
Yo, he was like, hell
I am
no.
built different. I am built different. Oh, man. You're built different.
No. He thought to himself, like, would I survive that? I don't think I survived that wound. No.
This is a man who went toe-to-toe with Kizaru real quick. Got slapped up by Kizaru, and this is what shook him.
You could say he, for agenda purposes, he could say he didn't get negative by Kizaru, and that's a feat. It's like pre time skip Arlong too.
pre.
Pre time skip Arlong did not get negative by Kizaru. That's a feat.
Yeah. Shout out to Muhammad. He said, do you think Law will go with the Straw Hats to Laugh Tale? Because I'm really done with him going with them everywhere. Just don't join them or go your way. Well, for agenda purposes, most people know that I believe that Law is an op. This man is a secret marine. He is a member of Sword. He has no interest in the One Piece, but he does have an interest in the true history. And if the true history is connected to the One Piece, then yeah, he might travel with them to Laugh Tale. But I think, but whatever his role in the story is going to be, it's not going to be to get the One Piece. It's not to be the Pirate King. He is not a rival to Luffy in that sense.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on that, or?
I don't see Law. Well, it seems like Oda's adding this new motivation to Law. It's about figuring out what the true history is, right? And if he's so interested in the true history, if Oda keeps him alive long enough to actually go to Laugh Tale, then sure, it could happen. And a lot of people, like, we all know the theory, right? We know Law, Sword. If that happens, then it's off the table. In my opinion, it's off the table completely. If it's not, then I think that's the only other direction he can go. Because to me, Law's purpose is centered around that surgery. That's what it was. That and then actually no, Law's entire character is centered around that surgery. If we're gonna be very honest, but Oda's adding more to his character that I didn't think he'd do by giving him such an interest in the Will of D. So if he's still trying to figure out what the Will of D is to this day, that seems to be in conflict with him being a Marine, right? Was that
not based on the way that I see it, right? Because to counter that, my thing is, shout out to MC20 joining the channel, thank you, man. The way that I see it is that Law's whole thing is really centered around the world government and the Celestial Dragons, because they are responsible for Flevens. So at the end of the day, Law is going to want to get back at the world government for killing his parents, his sister, his whole town, like covering up all of that. Like that's what he wants to learn about the true history, because that's going to tie into the world government to begin with and show how dirty they were. Mm. So once he sees how dirty they were, then he's gonna be able to truly take them down. And Sword in itself, shout out to Azal, thanks for joining the channel, man. I believe that Sword is led by Garp and is trying to circumvent in the shadows against the world government, against CP0, to try and either figure out this true history, because they're following the path of these weapons to begin with. So, and the weapons are being used by the Celestial Dragons to wage wars and do all of this other stuff. And, the conversation that Drake is having with Kobe about Sword is yeah, CP0 is here too. And and the way that he says it makes it seem like I got to watch out for these guys. So by pinning Sword against CP0, that means that Sword is against the Celestial Dragons because they are the ones that are protecting the Celestial Dragons. And then if Law is a member, then, there's a lot of hoops to get through for the theory. But as long as that's the case, then Law would, by being in Sword, would be against the Celestial Dragons trying to find the history.
That's fair.
But I'm done with Law to begin with. I think that he's been in the story too long. Same with the Scabbards. Like, I'm ready for Wano to be done because I want to focus on the Straw Hats. I want to get back to that pre-time skip greatness. I think that Law as a character is well written. I think he's great. I think Dressrosa serves him perfectly. I think his flashback is one of the best. But I think that him as a character has been a detriment to characters like Robin and Sanji.
Interesting.
Because the role that Robin had was, all right, we're in this island. I'm the person that knows everything that's going on. I know who this person is. I know what their bounty is, and I'm gonna give you the exposition for this arc right now because I'm a archaeologist. I know about this stuff, and it's my job to be in the know. Since Law came into the story, it's Law is now the person that's in the know and gives us this information and tells us about all of this stuff. And then he's also doing sneaky stuff on the side, which is like what Sanji's role is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Like the Mr. Prince elements have been Law. Moving around in the shadows.
That's interesting. No, that's what were you saying?
Oh no, I was done.
Oh no, I was saying that's the comparison between Law and Sanji and the Mr. Prince moments being taken from Sanji as a result of Law makes a lot of sense, and that's not something I thought about at all. I agree with you. Wano does need to end pretty soon. I've never really been a fan of the Scabbards. None of them. I don't really find any of them truly compelling. I think Nekomamushi and Warashi were compelling, but they've taken a backseat now as well. Ashura Doji has always been interesting, but he blew up. So I'm like, okay, and then the rest of the Scabbards, I think in the anime, you can feel more connection with the Scabbards in the anime, but in the manga, they seem to be, to me, it's harming Wano just because if you're not focusing on the Straw Hats and we're focusing on people that aren't compelling, I feel like it's harming, the engagement when it comes to the arc. I mean, it's the same thing with the Toby Roppo. Like the Toby Roppo were disappointing, outside of Ulti. Who's who, we thought we were going to get more from him. You're right. And he just kind of like, hi, Jinbei, I'm racist. Nika, by the way, also is this CP9 agent. And we get one chapter. I'm thinking, okay, if they continued, if we had like a couple of more chapters, like I didn't think the fight would end so quickly because there's more that we could have expanded on who's who. He's gone. He's out.
Yep.
Like he's actually out. So I'm like, okay, Satsuki, no. Page 1, taken up by Big Mom randomly. and then you have who's who. Drake just vanished with a poo somewhere, and Black Maria served her purpose. Great Robin moment. So Black Maria served her purpose.
Facts.
It's just Ulti that is memorable when it comes to the Toby Roppo. So you have the Toby Roppo and the Scabbards, like you mentioned with Law. Fortunately for us, we've had a lot more Sanji and Robin than Law for the most part here, so that's been good. But
about time.
We gotta start hitting this climax soon because I'm not sure what else Oda is gonna focus on besides what's going on with Luffy and Kaido, Sanji and Zoro. To me, that's the only thing that's really important. Even Momo holding up the island and everything with Yamato running around. That's more of just like, let's get to that moment now instead of just seeing the inner dialogue and inner monologue. Like, yo, let's get to it. Let's get to it because we're not even worried about it. We're worried about Luffy beating Kaido because at the end of the day, unless Luffy beats Kaido, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, man. And I'm with you 100%. It's like it's a little bit of Scabbard fatigue, and that's mostly because Oda has made them so prevalent in the story without actually expanding upon why we need to care about them. And I think that's the weakest parts of Wano to begin with. And the Odin flashback, while doing wonders for Odin, I think should have actually been used to do wonders for the Scabbards. And we didn't spend enough time on them during that flashback. And if we just had...
I agree.
and I know that Oda was getting pressured by his editors to make sure that that flashback wasn't as long, even as long as it was, because we were away from Luffy for so long.
Savage.
But if we just had 1 to 2 chapters of just the scabbards hanging out, more emphasis on them and their lives and their interactions with Odin.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just skipping past the parts of Odin meeting all of them and just having that be like a montage,
Yeah.
then we could come into this and make things work. I mean, the most impressive scabbard for me right now is Kanjuro. That's the Oda's done the best work with Kanjuro right now, and hopefully he's dead.
He's probably the most fleshed out one. I mean, so quick question: how did you feel about Kanjuro still being alive?
So that's the one that bothered me. That's the one that
I
bothered me.
thought that would be the one that would actually bother you, is Kanjuro still being alive? Because to me, it seemed very redundant. You didn't need to bring him back.
He didn't need to come back. Kinemon, I always said Kinemon out of all of them was going to come back, and I also said that Kiku had a chance based on the folklore being of a ghost that returns, right? So I said, like, Kiku could come back as a ghost or come back because that's what it is. The folklore, she falls into the well dead, she comes out of the well and goes after the person that wronged her. But Kanjuro went out perfectly. There really wasn't a need for that. Unless now, like, Kazembo and all of this stuff that he's doing right now, like, that Kazembo thing really needs to impact the story in a meaningful way to prove that.
Yeah.
So
It's just like a fiery smiley from Punk Hazard.
exactly.
That's really it. And
We're getting a lot of Punk Hazard throwbacks,
yeah.
including everybody's favorite of all.
Oh my goodness. For me, I would have been okay. The Kinemon stuff wouldn't have irked me if Oda just didn't try. He didn't do such a good job with the way we presumed he went out. Because I liked I loved that scene with Kinemon and Momo and Kaido's speech and the savagery, and like it was gory. It's like rare that we get that gory in One Piece. So I'm like, yo, I'm feeling this. So it seems like that's just been taken away from me because now I know it doesn't lead to the finality that Kaido was preaching about. Like, he was preaching about death as he was doing that. So I'm just like, the Momo crying, he's gonna see Kinemon again, he's gonna be okay. In the moment, obviously he's sad, but it's like, you just take away a bit of the luster with the fake out. So if maybe it was just the club and not the impaling and the severing, I would have been okay with that at least, because you can explain your way out of that one. You could use hockey or whatever. That's fine. And you just leave it ambiguous. Matter of fact, you just see him get clubbed. Momo screams, "Oh my God," and then Kaido says some monologue, and then we just move on. There's nothing else that happens. I think that would have worked, but then we'd miss the Kinemon and Momo moment, which I thought was actually very good, where you see them transition from calling him Kinemon to him calling him father and son. Like, that was nice. I'm like, that's the scabbard interactions. More of these, Oda. If we had a lot of these for all the other scabbards, then maybe we'd feel a connection. Kinemon's obviously the one we feel the most connection with because he's been around longer. You know, him and Suru, we saw that too. So we know a lot more about Kinemon than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Denjiro's got barely anything. I mean, Denjiro got the moment where he escaped from Odin, and he was so angry and raging that his facial structure actually changed. I thought that was a very strong moment for him. But I wanted more. I wanted to see more. There had to be more with Denjiro. And he's gone. Where is he? Where is Denjiro?
He's got to be coming back soon. We haven't seen it for so long. He's doing his own Mr. Prince thing right now. But
It's true.
the thing with 1015 is that, you know, when Kaido impaled Kinemon, that gave me exactly what I wanted for Kaido. Because up until that point, even with Roof Peace and all of that other stuff, I didn't feel Kaido as a threat. I didn't feel him as a compelling villain yet. Had he killed Kinemon in that moment, that would have solidified everything that I wanted from Kaido, to see the ruthlessness, to see the savagery. But now that's all mitigated, and all for the purpose so that Kinemon can see his wife again, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Got a super chat here from Lucy B. Said, so Sanji asking Zoro for a favor was an awesome moment. Do you both think there will be a follow-up moment to that? And if yes, how will that go? What do you think, man?
You mind repeating that again? I was looking at the other super chat. I didn't see the one above it.
So this is Sanji asked Zoro for a favor. You know, that was an awesome moment when he does the call saying, you know, kill me and all this.
That's
what do we think the follow up to that is going to be? Like, how do we think that's going to go? And I think that really it's going to be predicated on whether or not Oda actually like removes Sanji's kindness, because that creates two different answers.
Yeah.
I don't think that Sanji's kindness is gonna go away. So I think that the follow up makes sense if Sanji does use his kindness, because or thinks he does, because then Zoro and Sanji can have a moment where they where he like appeals to Sanji and tells him, you know, that, you know, he doesn't, as a brother, like, you know, maybe their first heart-to-heart moment in the whole series, like, you don't need to worry about all of that. But I still think that Nami is actually going to be the one to set Sanji straight, since she actually met his family. What do you think, man?
I think the way to follow up on it is, I don't think Sanji's going to lose his kindness. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Oda wants to preserve his character. I think he just wanted him to struggle internally, and I think that's it. He's not going to lose his emotions. I think if he kept wearing the rage suit, it would have happened. So he probably saved himself if he kept from what was going on there. I mean, we've seen the eyebrow turn as well, so something inside him has changed.
Something's different, yeah.
I think it's going to be a case where Zoro and Sanji defeat King and Queen, basically in the same manner. Maybe in some epic way where they punch them to the same area or something, like they knock them over the same area and they just like fall. It could be something cool like that. And then when they reconvene, Zoro's going to be like, so why did you ask me about that? What's going on there? And then Sanji will just play it off like nothing happened, like they normally do. They start bickering and then they start fighting, right? And then you know how they fight pre-time skip. Instead, Zoro's gonna be like, damn, Sanji, you're much harder than you used to be, because, you know, his body's changed.
Could you imagine Sanji just goes like this and just catches his sword?
Oh my God! Oh no! That can't happen. Not for me. If I'm around and I see that, no. They'd have to ban me off YouTube, Twitter. I'd actually have to be put in prison. They'd have to put me in prison, because I would be the worst human being alive if that happened.
Now I need that.
Oh my goodness.
God.
That's true.
And even if he actually like grabs it though, like not just blocks it, but if he holds it and just says, "Nah, man."
Or like he just swings his sword down, he blocks it, kind of like what King did to Sanji's foot instead. That panel will be circulated for the rest of time. Literally time. Oh no.
I love it.
Oh man, it would. You know, I'm trying to think of the most toxic time in the community's history. Recent, maybe in Wano, right? So there was, the amnesia was pretty bad. But if we're talking about like real, like for the agenda, everyone had an agenda. Oh man, I've had my live reactions, but that's different. So I'm trying to like think outside of that, and I'd probably say the ocean sovereignty. When the ocean sovereignty feat happened, the Zoro fans were wild. I have never like basically how Sanji fans were. Basically when the Queen's the sword broke, oh my God, yo, I have that was like ocean sovereignty for Sanji fans. It's crazy because the symbolism, the sword, Zoro, it breaks on Sanji. Like, I'd have to say ocean sovereignty and that recent moment with the sword breaking. I think those are the two by far most toxic moments we've had in the community in Wano. I can't think of any crazier. I can't.
I'm with you on that, man. I mean, the ZKK boys were on fire after what was that, 1003 maybe or something.
Think so. Yeah, they were
somewhere around there. That was
Rare form.
rare form for sure. Shout out to MC20 said 6 months already. Let's go, member for 6 months. Thank you, man. Insatiable Hunger. Zoro has multiple stands. His sword techniques aren't just techniques. When he uses Ichi and Ni Gorilla, he actually gains muscle mass. What? Then his Dragon Blaze is capable of engulfing his opponent in flames. Yeah, he's got a lot going on there too. I'm with you on that.
Huge fan of the Ichi Gorilla technique, by the way. As a kid watching One Piece, that was my favorite Zoro move ever.
Well, yeah.
It's just so cool to me, bro. That's what
It put his training to the test. It's like, all right, that's what he's been doing. That's what he's been doing with those weights. He got that. Like, that's where I'm like, all right, you built that yourself. I believe that.
Oh, bring that Zoro back, man. Those Zoro techniques. See, this is what I love. This is what I keep telling people. They think I don't like Zoro. Bro, pre-time skip Zoro, Tiger Hunt, Ichi Gorilla, Rashomon, all these, the techniques that he had, you don't see them no more. It's always an Onigiri purgatory. And that's it. Or a Tatsumaki, bro. Bring the repertoire back. Let me see the bag. Zoro's got a deep bag. He's got a deep one. Oh.
Just pull out the tricks, man. Pull them out.
Please,
pull 'em
please. That's why I really want him to fight. His next fight has to be a world-class swordsman. If it's not Mihawk, it has to be someone who's world-class.
I just want to see him get a little, one thing that's bothered me with Zoro post-time skip is his drip. I think his drip went way down. He was way cleaner in all of pre-time skip. He had way better outfits.
I'm not a fan of the robe, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll take the white shirt back too. I think his best fit in all of post-time skip was the Zoe arc. Just the clean blue tee. That was it.
Yep. Skypiea too. He wore the blue tee in Skypiea as well.
Yeah, that's one of his best fits.
With the goggles, yeah. Interesting. Okay. You know what I'd really like? A compression shirt, like a black compression shirt.
Oh, I'm here for that too.
I mean, Zoro, and then you put the black bandana on. Ooh. Oh, he'd look great.
Yeah, that's what we need right there. Yeah,
Under Armour Zoro. That's what I need.
Oh man, yeah. What'd you say? Under Armour Zoro?
Under Armour Zoro, sponsored by Under Armour. I would buy it. I would definitely buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Alex Gregoro. Said, I think the one thing that's ruined the Yonko for me is Whitebeard. You can put a man that epic, fight the Marines while sick, and then Kaido and Big Mom fight supernovas. These things don't scale. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people want to compare Wano to Marineford, but it's really there's elements of that, but the elements of Enies Lobby and Thriller Bark are way stronger if you want to, do callbacks to different things. But yeah, I mean, Whitebeard put all of the emperors on a pedestal, all of them.
He did. I feel. Do you feel like Whitebeard overinflated the emperors, or do you feel like every emperor? Because let me put it this way, because this is one of the biggest conundrums. I don't know if you've seen it. There's another circling around admirals and Yonko. That debate is circling around again on Twitter. Whitebeard's performance in Marineford is a sickly Whitebeard, right? We all know he's nerfed. Fair. But he was still dominating to a degree. Everyone that he came in contact with. The fights with the admirals were like more exchanges. Like you saw how skilled the admirals were. But Whitebeard is literally focusing on like so many different people at once, and they're all trying to attack. Like Kizaru sneak attacking him, Aokiji, you know what I mean? So it's like, if it's just a 1v1, I think Whitebeard wins. And this is a sick Whitebeard. If Kaido's supposed to be the strongest creature in the world, are we saying that if Kaido's in that situation, he is bodying everybody there? Because Kaido has no weaknesses that we know of. Maybe, I mean, obviously it's Odin's sword and Conqueror's Haki. Those are the weaknesses, but
I think what we need to see, and what is severely lacking in this arc, is seeing Kaido do a feat like Whitebeard. Run through a bunch of people, and the 5 that were on the roof do not cut it. but just run through. Like, this is why I wanted Kaido to, like, head down to the live floor and wreck house. Like, I was really hoping that when Luffy got knocked down, that he was going to get back to the roof and Kaido wasn't going to be there. And that Kaido had gone down to the live floor,
started decimating
and
people.
started decimating the whole thing until there were only 9 people left to go with the prophecy.
Ooh, that would have been very good. Now that I think about it,
Like, that's what I wanted. And then that would have been a comparison to Skypiea with Enel's game, right? At the end of all this, there's only going to be 5. So I've been thinking about it like this.
Yeah, the Enel. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your thought because that Enel was great. I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
That's I love that moment. Probably one of my favorite moments of Skypiea. And so when I heard this 9 prophecy, all I could think about, and all I've been able to think about, is that Skypiea moment. Like, at the end of this, there's only going to be 9 people, and those 9 people are going to be the people that take down Kaido. I don't know if that's what we're getting anymore, but when Luffy got thrown off the roof, that's what I thought we were finally getting. And we were going to see that Whitebeard action where Kaido just goes down and runs through all of them. Everybody knocks them all down until they're all done, and then whoever gets up at the end is like, you know, that's when Luffy arrives, and we get that sort of, like, he just came from Snake Way Luffy, like, all right, I'm back. I just took out Jack or something, like, whatever, and now I'm here. That would have been cool. That's not what
I would have liked that because, again, I'm a villain guy. So the NL moment, when NL just decided, all right, enough's enough. He took out Robin, Zoro, Wiper in second, just destroyed them. It was like moments like that where the villain shows, bro, borderline negative.
Yeah,
and Wiper, he restarted his heart and said, "It's over, we're done, like no more." I'm like, okay, that's when I'm like, the fearsomeness. Crocodile did the same thing. Luffy tried to pull up the crocodile, he decimated him twice. I'm just like, yo, that's the sick stuff. With Kaido, that moment was when he went down and just annihilated Kinemon. Like, he was just out there causing havoc. Like, that moment, to me, Kaido doing that was what I wanted to see. I'm like, yeah, now we're getting savage Kaido.
Exactly.
And to be fair, he did his job, but
Savage.
if he went down to the live floor and he took out basically the Yakuza, all of the Wano guys, taking out the Smile users as well, that would have been, the Smile users that turned, just nothing but bodies everywhere, people struggling. That would have been perfect. We should have gotten that also when, you remember when he beat the Scabbards and he's like beating them off screen for like an hour?
Yeah.
Like, that's my problem. It's just like, I feel like he's wasting these good Kaido moments because he destroyed the Scabbards. And we cut to a scene of him clubbing them on the floor. I'm like, bro, how are they surviving this? Like, this, you can't, like, there has to be, because we know he one-shot Luffy in Gear 4. So we know what he's capable of.
Right.
How are these guys getting up, moving around? Like, where, I don't want him to be dead. Just be out for the rest of the arc. That's all I ask for. And it just keeps coming back to the point where when Kaido does these great things, everyone gets back up and they're fine. And Zoro's got a miracle drug now after everything he
not
went through.
make Kaido look good at all.
It's matter of fact, someone in my chat in my live reaction said the fun. I ignored it because if I actually absorbed it, I'd have to slander Kaido, and I really didn't. But they said Kaido is the king of beating people and watching them get back up. Like, that's all he does is just whoop everybody and then they just get back up for whatever reason. He never actually beats anybody.
Yeah.
Except for Luffy. He beat Luffy. I'll give him that. He definitely beat Luffy.
And then it's like,
twice, actually.
oh, but that's Kaido's whole thing. Like, he just wants to break your will and have you join him. No. This man has been built up as a true savage of the highest degree.
Exactly.
And I haven't seen the savagery. I haven't seen it yet. And the elements that we got that were savage were diminished because Oda came back and was like, nah, it actually wasn't as savage as you thought.
But the thing is, that's the thing though. He is savage. He is, because when he beats you into submission. Stabbing Kinemon is the savagery.
Yeah.
And this is why I mentioned, like, that there's ways to do the fake out where you don't have to kill him. Like, for me, if he stabbed Kinemon's hand, like he stabbed both of his hands to the ground and said, "You're not moving from this spot," and just walked away, you can keep Kinemon away and maintain the savagery of Kaido. Now him chopping off Orochi's head, savagery, right?
Yeah.
So we have these moments, but Orochi comes back again. So it's like, let's get something final. At least, like I said, if he beats somebody, they're gone. Like when he beat Luffy, Luffy was gone.
That's a great point about stabbing the hands. Like, there's so many ways that Oda could have gotten out of that situation.
Yeah.
If he wanted to keep Kinemon alive.
Even cut a limb off. Like, when Doflamingo cut Law's arm off, that was savage. I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Dofi, Jesus Christ. Like, yo. Oh, my God. Like, these One Piece villains, sometimes I think we underestimate it.
Yeah. Yeah. But then then at the same time, it's more in Wano that we're underestimating all of the heroes. Because they just keep getting back up.
I don't know. This guy, I refuse to believe I'm underestimating these scabbards. I'm sorry. I can't. Maybe they're just all, maybe they just have ridiculous durability. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's One Piece, We just talked about Zoro and the Pillars and Das Bones. Like, there's precedent. We've seen it, so you just take it as you go,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, I usually let's see, we're about an hour and 50 minutes into this. I usually go to 2, so I think I want to open the chat up to any sort of last minute questions that anybody wants to throw out, any sort of last ideas, and then over the next 10 minutes or so, whatever, we'll wrap this up. But I mean,
it's a good. The chat brings up a good point, by the way. Kiku's arm. Although that was more of just like
indirect.
It seemed indirect. It just didn't hit. Like, Doflamingo stood on top of Law and then cut his arm off. That is very personal and very aggressive.
Yeah. T said, no one has to die for it to be good, Randy. So I'm not saying that it... I think people get upset. They say, I want people to die. I mean, I think that there's a lot of emotion that can be drawn from death, and that it can forward the story. It doesn't mean that anybody needs to die. No. But when you build up someone like Kaido, we've seen him kill Odin, but I'd love to see him actually kill someone in the present timeline.
Yeah.
Because he's already been established as someone who is a murderer. So if Oda wanted to show the savagery and the viciousness of a particular character, this is the one to do it.
Yes.
It's not that I want every villain to kill someone. I wasn't sitting there in the Dressrosa arc saying, I want Doflamingo to kill this person, this person, this person. No, Kaido should kill someone and set himself up as Kaido had the potential of being, up there with, as far as villains are concerned, the Friezas and the Cells and all of that. And for right now, when it comes to One Piece, it's Crocodile and Doflamingo are those for me. I think Blackbeard will eventually get to that. I think that Oda will flesh that out, but Kaido is not at that level of iconic villain yet.
I like what you're saying, right? So Crocodile in particular, because with Crocodile, I mean, Luffy should have died twice. To me, actually, if we're talking about savagery, remember how we're talking about how Doflamingo severed off Law's arm. The most savage moment in One Piece is Crocodile stabbing Luffy in the gut. And the speech about, oh my God, the speech. He's like, there is so many rookies out here, you're a bum. You're a bum. Just threw him in the dirt. Threw him in a sand whirlpool. I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he grabs Luffy's neck and basically shrivels him to death. He did that with other people as well. Crocodile was fearsome, and he had long-lasting damage. And the thing is, you were mentioned with Kaido, he killed Warrior's crew, so we know he has a past of murdering. Right. He's a murderer. People that went off to remember the Ashura Doji's guys that went over to Onigashima, they all
Murdered.
died. They
Murdered.
all murdered, right? He cut off
Ushimaru.
Orochi's head.
Murdered.
Yeah, murdered. Kaido murders people. So I think we, as the viewer, we just need to see him murder somebody. It doesn't have to be anyone grand. But if Orochi was dead, everyone would have been happy because I'm like, wow, Kaido's a murderer. Confirmed. we got it. You know, we got it. So that even the moment where Kaido is beating on the scabbards, to me it was morbid to see it. Like, this guy has beat them already and he's continuing to beat them while they're down. I'm like, this is morbid. But it seemed like,
On brand.
again, you just need that one thing that pushes it over the edge. He's like right there. He's always on the cusp of the greatness. And maybe with the backstory, I think that'll probably propel him into that greatness category, because I have a lot of high hopes for Kaido. I still like Kaido a lot, but
I'm waiting for the flashback too, and I think that's going to flesh him out even more. But it says something that we never had a Crocodile flashback, and he's still, a top 3 villain.
I keep telling people, I'm like, if Oda actually brings Crocodile back, and a lot of the theories that people have, the new Underworld Emperor, it makes sense, right? He's working with Blackbeard behind the scenes. They talked in Impel Down. Now he's the new Joker in place of Doflamingo.
I haven't seen that, but I always thought that that Crocodile would come back when the ancient weapons are in play.
Which is possible, but imagine that. So the whole thing that ties it together is that Blackbeard's on the move. They're talking about, we should go there and find it first. If it's at Alabasta, the one person that would tell Blackbeard about a poneglyph that he saw in Alabasta that's supposed to be about the ancient weapon is Blackbeard.
And
if they're in contact,
and Crocodile
is Crocodile. Yeah, there you go.
And Crocodile would be okay with that because of his feud with Whitebeard.
Yep.
So that, I not that I exactly, think that Crocodile would work for Blackbeard, but work with.
He would work with him.
I wouldn't say that Crocodile is the 10th Titanic captain or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to go there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no way.
Like, it's like, because you see the energy the Crocodile even brings to Marineford when Doflamingo says, like, let's team up or whatever. But he was like trying to set the hierarchy. He was basically saying to Doflamingo, like, I'm above you, bro.
No, I'm Mr. Zero. All right, I said zero for a reason. There's no one. Nah, if you're working for me. Basically, is what he was saying. And he said, I know you're stronger than me, so like, I don't know what you're doing here, but I'm not working.
I don't know. Crocodile showed out.
He did parry Mihawk. They do forget that. Luffy was scared. Luffy, he didn't want to take that slash from Mihawk. Crocodile's out here parrying him.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Crocodile and Akainu also. So
he had a lot of great feats in Marineford. This power scaling is weird sometimes. Like, this is where people who are like saying Oda doesn't care about power scaling, they have some credence with this stuff, because Crocodile in Impel Down, and then him going into Marineford, the way he was behaving and the way people were treating him, I was like, yo, 81 million berries for this guy, and he's parrying Mihawk? Oh.
Sleeping on my boy.
They're sleeping on him. They're sleeping.
Yeah. Crocodile is a problem, and I think that Luffy just got lucky.
I agree. I mean, Crocodile beat him so many times, dude. It's like, how many times can you beat somebody before you just get tired and give up? Hey, low key, he probably just kind of curried himself and said, all right, you know what? I'm getting hit through bedrock. Let's just call it a day.
I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah.
PXPX super chatted said, if Big Mom plus her crew versus Kaido plus his crew go all out, who would win? In my opinion, Big Mom wins definitely. I feel like I'm more impressed with Big Mom's crew, personally.
Yeah.
And I'm actually more impressed with Big Mom in general. So that's a good point. Are you finish your point? You can go ahead, man.
No, so Big Mom, ironically, has been very impressive. I would say just from the fact that the first time she's actually ever taken damage, and we've seen it, is from Law, and it had to be an awakening that attacked her from the inside, and basically whatever is this iron balloon is, Law basically turned it off. So then Kid and all his wrestling moves and behavior, now anything that Kid does with that amount of damage will actually hurt Big Mom. And that's when we see it. And then Big Mom just gets larger and said, all right, well, now I'm really going to hurt you guys. I'm like, okay, who's going to beat
my
her?
lifespan.
Yeah. A year of her own. She's using her lifespan? And she used it to make herself bigger, right? That's how she did it, right?
Oh yeah, which was a win for me because I've been saying when she was going to take some souls and that she was going to shadows Asgard herself like Moria, and that's what she did.
Oh, God, that is just. And son, Indra in the rooftop, the little lightning storm. I'm like, yo, this is how Yako should be behaving. Like, just extra,
Yes.
like island level behavior. This is what I'm looking for, right?
Yes.
It's like, and we was talking about with Kaido, like. So apparently it wasn't shape-shifting. I was praying it was shape-shifting, because if Kaido was shape-shifting and moving around and using Three Realms Ragnarok like that, I'm like, okay. I was like, this is what I've been waiting to see. But I agree with you. Big Mom has been very impressive.
Shout out to our boy, I'm the King. Super
Hey, my boy.
Said, don't be sleeping on Buggy, straight tanking a Mihawk hit. I mean,
He did do that.
He did do that. I mean, that's a goat. I mean, he's a warlord for a reason, right? I mean, you don't get that. You don't just get that. By being a chummer.
Exactly.
That's all types of clout.
Buggy was one of the best things in Impel Down.
Oh yeah.
Buggy was so entertaining in Impel Down.
Impel Down was one of the most fun things to read weekly too, because it was
my goodness.
Because it was just like, who's gonna show up next week? Who's gonna show up?
It was just like the perfect excuse to introduce so many older characters. They were like, hey, look, it's Crocodile. Hey, man, what's,
Oh, and
Dazbone.
I'm a Crocodile stan. Like,
Same.
Crocodile is my favorite villain.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Always number one for me.
So when he came back, I was like, no matter what, this is a top 5 arc.
Bro, the boiling blood. The fact that he didn't scream either. They put him in boiling blood. He's just like, nice bath.
Yeah. Cool. Next.
The guys were all man. And the fur coat. I mean, come on. The coat.
Yo, the
drip.
man stopped in the middle of the breakout to make sure that he collected his drip.
He said, I gotta look crispy at all times. But get this off me, yo. Crocodile just got the right energy all the time. Just
like,
always.
BRB. This man ducked, dipped for a minute, went through a couple of walls, sanded some walls, went into his locker, was like, all right, there's my... All right.
All right, get the little green, okay. Fur, I like the fur, okay. He said, oh, Magellan's not gonna like this one. He said, yeah, I'm gonna kill him, man. Magellan's not gonna know what hit him.
Certified drip.
Certified. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I
need a cosplay as Crocodile.
Me too.
You could pull it off. You could really pull off Crocodile. Now I'm looking at it.
I need a big ass fur. That would be fun. That would be fun to do. Maybe next year, next Halloween. Already did the Onigashima trip.
I like that, by the way. Looked very good. Very good.
Thank you. I still have to. I have to bless the internet with me recreating the Zoro pack stance in it.
Need that expeditiously.
I need the internet. I'm gonna put the image on Twitter, and I need the internet to Photoshop the Zoro pack in there.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to do it. I could do it. I don't have the time to do it.
I think the funniest thing, the funniest video you've made a lot of funny memes. Bobby Shmurda spinning around Zoro in his hands with the One Piece music in the background. I was dying. I could not stop laughing at that shit. It's the fact that you made it spin too. I'm like, oh, he's being real extra. He's being real extra, yo. Oh nah, that's perfect, man. That is perfect. I gotta. Do I have permission to use that in one of my videos? Like, can I please?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
most definitely. Most definitely.
Because I need to use that. I need to tell my editor to put that in my videos at least at one point.
By all means. By all means. You know, and I'm definitely gonna bring it back around once the Zoro pack gets animated.
Please.
You know, and don't get it wrong. Like, just like shout out Dio Brando, just like Jay, I love Zoro. Even though I'm a Sanji guy, I still love Zoro.
Yeah.
But it's like the amount of it gets skewed, you know, because I feel like it's like the Zoro fans always beat down on the Sanji fans. So it was like when the Zoro pack came out, it was like duck season. Guess what? It's rabbit season now.
I'm not gonna lie, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was so funny. Zoro. The funny thing is, the Zoro stands knew they couldn't do anything because Oda just made it so obvious. Sanji's carrying Zoro in a cross blunt. Like they just had to take that one. There was no fighting back on that one. They just had to take it. I was like, damn. I felt bad for him that day. I felt bad.
Woo. Oh man, yeah. I don't know when it's they're still making it or whatever, but I ordered a mini figure of the Zoro pack, so like that's happening.
That's so good.
Oh man. Let's see. We got some other super chats here. Oh yeah, I mean I got a Zoro pack emoji. Look at the chat right now. You know, it's still the emoji. It's right there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, we have one.
Let me see those Zoro packs, guys. We don't get to use them enough.
Put the Zoro packs in the chat.
Alex Gregro, Dofi greater than Jack? ? And Kiku's arm, a move that Zoro blocked and everyone else dodged. Yeah. Dofi versus Jack. You know, I mean that's hard to say because I mean like I don't do much power scaling on my channel because I don't really care about it, but the thing is that you have to remember that Doflamingo was a problem, was a monster, and his bounty was frozen. So if he was really active and out here, he probably would have over 1 billion, especially with how many, where his hands were and all the pots. It just, Jack being a Zoan and all of that, it just, like, I feel like Dofi would be able to just string this boy up and hold him down, and I don't know, I think Dofi wins. And then especially with Jack not putting any sort of, like, in... He did not show out. For his hype, he did not show out.
It was a pretty poor performance, unfortunately.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's going to low diff or anything like that, but it's Dofi.
And I can't be the only one that was, like, slightly concerned with how Inuarashi kind of just finished him.
Yeah.
I know there was more to the fight, but it seemed like Inuarashi just kicked him in the stomach and that was it, bro. Like it was just over and nothing else happened.
I was in the camp that Jack was gonna kill Inuarashi. I was like, okay, Oda is setting this man up. He's been building this man up. He's been dragging him down. This is where he's gonna show us how much of a menace Jack is. And I thought it was gonna be used to build up Luffy. Because from my perspective, and I still sort of feel this way, Luffy's going up against an emperor, right?
Yeah.
Now, he has beaten a first Yonko commander as far as Katakuri is concerned, but he has not, like, mid-diffed or low-diffed a commander. And I think you need to at least mid-diff a commander if you're going to take out an emperor. So,
I agree.
So we haven't seen that. We haven't seen Luffy, like, have a fight where he's not really sweating a commander. If he ended up, like, running into Jack and, like, Blue-knowing him with some sort of new technique, like coming in like, okay, I get this now. I'm gonna use the hockey drip that he's got now from Conqueror's coding and all that, and then use Jack as a punching bag to sort of finesse it a little bit. Then I'd be like, okay, he's gonna beat Kaido now. So now it's kind of like, well, he still hasn't done that. If he beats Kaido, all right, but I still feel it's gonna be like anticlimactic because he's kind of skipping a step. And that just might be Oda trying to, get to a certain point in the story.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin Sweat, said, LOL, Kaido trying to make their hockey bloom. That's why he beats them near death.
I don't know why that made me laugh.
I mean, there's something to it. Something to it.
He's just Kaido's just been this teacher all this time. He's just like I mean, it's kind of what they do with the small fruits, right? With if you get the devil fruit and it works out for you, you're good. If it fails, okay. So Kaido instead is I kill people because I want them to hockey bloom. If they die, they die. That's I guess
Yep. If they
maybe
bloom,
there's an
they
ulterior
bloom.
motive.
Yeah, Luffy beats him, and then Kaido's last words are, "You're welcome."
Would you be upset if Kaido dies and he? Matter of fact, would you be upset if Kaido dies?
Like,
Do you think he should die?
I wouldn't be upset if he died. I don't know if Oda is going to give us that closure with him, especially with the world government ships coming. It might just be another situation where Kaido gets captured and then Oda uses it as an opportunity to have him break free and do something in the final war. I just, it's so hard to sort of navigate in, because Oda has so many doors open and so many paths that he could go through, that it's predicting the end of the arc now is harder than ever. Where it seemed like very linear, now there's a bunch of different directions. There's an avenue where Luffy does win. There's an avenue where Luffy doesn't win. There's an avenue where Wano is saved. There's an avenue where Wano is destroyed. There's an avenue where the Marines, well, not the Marines, but the world government does annex the world government, does annex Wano, and then that becomes a plot point of defeating the world government so that Momo can get Wano back. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd be upset about it. I guess it would be who does it. If it's Luffy, I would be like, oh wow, But then again, I mean, we've never gotten an update on what happened to Arlong. So I don't know if Arlong could be 6 feet under Kokoyashi Village. So
I still think he would have got out of Impel Down. We would have seen him in Impel Down.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. I don't think he's dead though. I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Jinbei would have said something. If he died, Jinbei would have said something. Especially in Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think Arlong's still alive.
AJH17 asks, do the Scabbards have any W's at all? The fact that I have to think about it is a problem.
It's a severe problem.
I mean, Kinemon had a great showing against Kaido. I mean, they all really showed out against Kaido in like 993 before Kaido was like, all right, I guess I'll try now.
Yeah.
But like any W's that actually have stuck, I would say, all right, I'll say Ashura Doji has a W for saving everybody from Kanjuro's drawing and going out like a G. So
Ashura Doji versus Jack.
We already saw that, and Ashura Doji looked like he was low diffing him.
He did, and I think that's a W. I think that's a W for the Scabbards at least, because he's to me he's still the most impressive. Because Sulong is more of a caveat, True. It doesn't happen all the time, so you can't. Nekomamushi and Inuarashi have more potential for power, but I still think Ashura Doji is the strongest.
Yeah, he might have looked like he was lazy, but he must have been using those 20 years.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because if he fought any of the Tobiropo, I think he beats them handily. I think he would have beat Jack, but it seems like Oda didn't really use Ashura. Ashura Doji is the most famed for his fighting ability, but Ashura Doji was shown and used the least for his fighting ability out of all the Scabbards. How crazy is that?
I don't know. I remember how crazy it was just when that chapter came out with Ashura Doji like fighting Jack and getting that hit off, and we're just like, bro, this guy has $1 billion bounty. Like he did all this stuff in Zo. Like, what? Who is this guy?
Like, these samurai are serious. Like, wow.
Right.
It's like we all thought like these are the samurai. Like, yeah, and turns out they were the only samurai.
They're the only ones, and they get up when they're beaten.
Well, Kaido did kill a lot of them, so that is fair. I'm sure they had a lot of strong samurais. It's just Kaido killed them all. So
Yeah, but that's
fair.
that's what I want to see. Oda, show me this. Maximilian Hofer, member for 7 months. Thank you, man. Said Croc, Lucci, and Doflamingo all feel more ruthless than Kaido. I'm inclined to agree. And then, I mean, I would put Kaido, in the conversation and all of that, but I still need more.
Lucci is. I mean, you did see the bodies with Lucci.
True. He did have a flashback where we see the bodies, him standing on them.
Yeah, standing on. I'm like, yeah, they're all dead. It's like, yeah, they died. That was pretty aggressive.
I got to shout out my boy I'm D King. I missed that he had another super chat earlier. He said, "Gotta send one more for how far Randy has come with the OBS setup. This is one of the most impressive power ups I've ever seen."
I'm screaming.
Oh man. I mean, I got to shout out Zach because he was one of the first people that I reached out to when I was starting to stream, and I was just like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I make videos, but I don't stream. Like what am I doing?
It's a whole different art, man. So people don't underestimate. Like when people host the reverie, that's a lot of pressure on the streamer with the reverie. Like there's so many people watching. All it takes is one hint of bodega, bro. Catastrophe.
Oh yeah.
That's all it takes. You just pure catastrophe. Especially when you don't know what's going on and OBS starts acting up and it's telling you, oh, your encoder's working too fast. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know how to fix that. So you're just panicking.
Or it's beeping in the corner and it says OBS disconnected for a second. Then it comes back up and you just gotta be here like, so we still
here? What's going on? Fortunately, so background in my channel, I did all my live reactions via live stream on YouTube. I used to live stream exclusively, right? So
my first one was like that. The first 2 or 3 were like that.
Yep. Just any chat, Kingdom, Solo Leveling, One Piece. My connection was so bad back in the day that my lag was a part, like how Morge is now, my lag was a part of my feature, and that's where the term bodega came in. Like they said, oh, you got a bodega connection. So that's where they came from. So now my connection is fine. But if there's anything wrong, instantly, oh, JD Bodega, there is bodega all over again. Like it just, I'm like, all because of streaming and just bad connection.
We had Chrissy in the chat. She said she'll help me with the crocodile cosplay. All right. Well,
shout out to Chrissy.
I do have a costume designer in the house. So.
Ooh, very nice.
I'm at the part of the chat with all the Zoro packs. It's great. It's a lot to catch up on here. Maxo, my guy. Glad I caught this collab. Would be interesting to see Arlong connect with the Sun Pirates. I'd like to see Jinbei smack this man up, or really, I'd love to see Nami take this man out, electrocute him, that would be a way to show how far she's grown. She gets to get back. She's like, hey, I heard my name. Sure did.
It's also making me think about Usopp. He hasn't done much.
Yeah. So I actually have a video on Usopp coming out soon. I'm going to try and get it out this week, where I'm going to talk about what I believe his power up is going to be, because that's what's happening right now. Is that everybody's getting a power up. It's like Ennie's lobby. Robin's got Demonio Floor. Chopper can be in Monster Point for 30 minutes. Nami's got the homie Zeus.
The big homie.
Big homie Zeus. Zoro's got Conquerors. Sanji's got the adamantium drip now and everything that comes with the Germanus. Luffy's grown. Frankie, by the end of the arc, I'm sure is going to get Queen's rechargeable laser. And then one of my favorite things that came into a stream not too long ago was shout out to Zoe. She's been saying it for a while, but now it's like it really could happen. Usopp eats Kanjuro's fruit.
So he draws what he can shoot from his slingshot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And where is he going right now? To Kanjuro's dead body. With Kinemon.
If Usopp eats a devil... Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want Usopp to have a devil fruit. Well, here's the thing.
It's not an offensive one, though. It's not... I mean, it's kind of, but...
It's like a unique one, yeah. It won't compromise his character, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
You allow Usopp to use his creativity still. Now this is to me, I understand this is a bad take for the One Piece community, so please definitely disagree with me, but this is just one of my, I guess this is my meathead talking. I've always said Usopp is a glorified gardener. Now, it's very disrespectful because I know I was hoping that from the slingshot, we would upgrade to, walking in his footsteps of his father with the gun and the hockey bullets and see what's happening with Izo. Even then, I like the slingshots. I like when he was using the exploding stars. I like that a lot. But now with the gardening not the gardening techniques, like the plants and the wildlife and all that stuff, I just wanted Usopp to eventually evolve to the point where he's fighting Van Alger and we're having long range gunfights. I was hoping, but do you think that would compromise his character if he used a gun? And why do you think he doesn't use a gun?
I mean, I think that's Oda's choice right there to keep it slingshot. So that's interesting. But the thing is that, yeah, and this is part of why I really like the idea of Usopp eating that fruit in the first place, is because he'll be able to draw things that'll be even more powerful than a gun. Or he'll be able to draw bullets and he'll be able to slingshot them out. And he'll be able to use his creativity. And of course, our introduction to Usopp when he joined the crew was as an artist. He drew the Jolly Roger. And flamed everybody else, saying that he'll be the artist for everybody. So it's wild and it's out there, but based on the positioning of where his character is and where he could go with everything, I really think that it's a possibility that allows him to grow with, like you said, without compromising his character, and keeps him creative and doesn't make him overpowered. He's still like the devil fruit is not going to be the thing that wins fights for him, but it's going to make his fights more interesting.
It will deepen his bag.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It would definitely deepen his bag.
And we might get Ryunosuke back.
Oh. There's a lot of Oda. There's a lot of Oda in this.
No one dies in One Piece.
There's a lot of Oda's behavior in this. I won't lie. So I will say I will support your theory. I will support it because I think Usopp can be very, very interesting with Kanjuro's fruit. So you got to support her. I support the theory.
Yeah, that's gonna come out this week, I think. Shout out to Marcus Frazier, said two my favorite One Piece content guys. Also, throwing in down for the advanced Conqueror's Hockey drip. Flex emoji, my man. Let's see, Alex Gregro, One Piece where guns and cannons don't matter unless it's a flashback. I mean, that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah, guns don't really do anything. I mean, Law got shot. Remember how many times Law got shot point blank by Dovi? To this day.
Yo, yeah. Did you ever see the edit that someone made? Or I think I was the one that made the edit, actually. I don't know, but it was like I can't remember if it was something that I was playing around with. Chrissy, you're in the chat. Was it me or did we find it on the internet where at the scene that Dovi is shooting everybody, it just starts playing. What you say? Every bullet, every gunshot. It's just like that SNL skit.
I feel like I did see that. You did do that.
I think I did.
You definitely did that.
I think that was an early thing I did.
Did you do it at the beginning of a video? I feel like you might have.
I might have just Twitter. I might have just put that on Twitter, maybe even before
Certified drip.
that played by itself. Um, yeah, I don't remember, man, but that was fun. Oh, you know what? I think actually, yeah, I did. I made it like a story on Instagram or something. I'm the King still in the chat. He said the slingshot can't be changed, but the pop greens definitely ain't it.
Spitting.
Yeah, but I mean, like anything that he draws, if he gets that fruit, will be something similar to the pop greens, I think. Griffin Vibe said the slingshot eats the fruit. I mean, I'm all right. Maxo said that sounds sick. Yeah. A lot of people saying the slingshot eats the fruit, maybe. Let's see. People are asking me to put my prophet hat on and think about what's going to happen in 1032. I mean, I said at the end of my video, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that 1032 is another Sanji chapter, because he's and it's we've done this before. I'm not trying to copy Uteron or anything like that, but I mean, we're getting into some numbers here. Is it's 1,000, and then you have Nissan and all of this stuff. With 2 and 3, and Sanji is dealing with all of this. San-Ni. But if you flip that, Nissan. Anyway, Sanji dealing with his brothers, sort of finishing up that, maybe go back to Zoro. But then also, if we get a update on the 1,000 Sunny, this is the only chapter that Oda can do this where it sounds like the chapter's name is 1,000 Sunny, because it's 1,000 Sanni. So if he wanted to do sort of a little nod for that, it could happen. But I think it's going to be another Sanji focused chapter, or at least start back with Sanji.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. The follow through with Hell Memories. Shout out to Loggy Doggy, said thoughts on Usopp unlocking Conqueror's Haki after being tortured. He mentioned tortured pretty specifically in this arc. Dofi unlocked it the same way. I have my thoughts, but what do you think, Jay?
Sanji Conqueror's Haki thing?
Usopp Conqueror's Haki.
Usopp's Conqueror Haki. Okay, sorry. I think it makes sense for him to get it. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to get it. When it'll happen, I feel like Elbaf should be that moment. If we allow Big Mom to get out of Wano, which I'm hoping, I know it's possible she'd go down. I think it'd be crazy if she did. If we allow Big Mom to escape, go to Elbaf, Usopp is there, and say there is a moment between Big Mom or some of the Big Mom pirates and the giants, and Usopp. Usopp, when he gets really passionate about something, he becomes the bravest guy out of all of the Straw Hats. Like, once he's very passionate, and he really loved was it Oimo and the other guy from the Venice Lobby? Yeah. He loves the Giants. He loves Dorian Broggy. So if he sensed like some disrespect towards them, the giant race and anything like that, Usopp would stand up and say, absolutely not. Maybe some fodder, maybe some Big Mom fodder, they fall. And he does that in front of the Giants. Now all the Giants start looking at Usopp and saying, oh, this guy's legendary. He's got Conqueror's Haki. So Usopp's lore also carries on, not from just the Tontadas, but now it's with the Giants as well. It's literally an opposite. Little, big, both revere this one guy, God Usopp, who made all these people fall. And think about the tale. Usopp makes people collapse without even touching them in front of the land of giants. Usopp the Giant. To me, that's poetic. It's poetic.
There's definitely poetry, and I agree. I believe that Usopp will unlock Conqueror's Haki because it's within his character to do so, and it'll be a defining moment that will actually allow him to believe and get closer to his dream of being the bravest man on the seas, because I think that Conqueror's Hockey and the will that is attached to that are kind of go hand in hand. And I think that when he feels like he's achieved his dream will be once he's done something like that. I like the idea of him standing up to Big Mom, especially as a coward, if he can replicate what Jinbei did and like not be afraid of her, not it would be interesting if it was a situation where she tried to take his soul, but he stood up to her and it didn't happen, and then that's the moment for us that's like, oh wow, like he's brave now. But I would like it even more if Big Mom actually ran into Usopp, actually successfully stole his soul.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason that propels us to go to Elbaf to chase Big Mom. And then we kind of go on this existential journey with Usopp as he, atones with his own weakness and all of this, and how Big Mom was able to do this, and then stands up to her again, and then there's some way of him getting it back that way.
Yeah.
Or they find some sort of respect or something, and she gives it back that way also. Usopp repairs the damage between Big Mom and the Giants. I don't know.
The chat said I'm trying to save face with Usopp stands after that. After that whole soliloquy.
What happened between you and Usopp stands?
They're saying JD trying to save face after calling Usopp a gardener, basically.
Yeah, nah.
I cannot confirm or deny whether that's the case.
There's a lot of people that like feel like Elbaf is gonna get skipped, and it's like, and I see that all the time, and I'm like, there's literally no way that that's gonna happen, and I say this all the time, and the reason is because the whole reason Oda is drawing One Piece is because he was inspired by Vikings. And the Elbaf is all about the Norse mythology and the Vikings. Like, Oda's going to go off in that arc.
Yeah.
It's happening. We're going there. No matter what. So. But, yeah, man. We're at 2.5 hours. I mean, we just kept going, and this was awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel about everything? I mean, any sort of last thoughts from you, and maybe we'll wrap this up. I mean, this was a great collab, man. I had a lot of fun.
No, thanks for having me. No, this has been awesome. Honestly, I feel like the live action. I mean, we talked. It's funny. It feels like two separate streams. We went all live action, and then all Sanji, and then we just went random. This is like just spitballing. But I would say the live action. After watching your video and hearing from you, I feel like I'm closer to the live action. I feel like I have more investment in the live action than I did before, which is definitely, I would say, is a testament to you. So shout out to you for that. And then with Wano, it's interesting that we've kind of come to the conclusion where Kaido has been such a big positive for Wano, but then when you really look at what's been going on with Kaido, you're starting to notice some of the glam of Kaido is rinsing off because of all these people. Like, you're really waiting for that permanent damage that Kaido should be doing that hasn't happened yet. And it's interesting because I never thought about it that way, and that might be something I talk about later. But that's also very insightful. The Usopp theory I'm very interested in. Still don't like the scabbards. It's never going to change. And then obviously Crocodile's the GOAT. That's just the main takeaways from this stream is Crocodile's the GOAT. Need more from Kaido. Live action is a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. There was a well-timed savage in the stream when you said still like the scabbards.
Yep.
And then we got two last super chats here. Dami Danny said, thoughts on Yamato and what will happen to them after Wano? Like, any guesses? I mean, they either join or not, and everything's looking good for them joining as far as I can tell. How do you feel about Yamato?
Oh no. I'm still on the fence. Yamato hasn't pulled me in yet.
I
I
feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah, I think Yamato. People love Yamato because of the character design. You know, being Kaido's son, daughter. That's a whole other debate, but we won't go into that. I'll just say both, just for the safety. Um, and that in itself is also marred it with Oda's ambiguity with Yamato as well, and then the SBS stuff. There's been a lot of noise around Yamato, which has kind of taken the focus off the character. And when you actually pay attention to the character, we still need more from Yamato, just a little bit more, and some more introspective thoughts, like the flashback with Yamato and Kaido. I like that because you
Need
see
more
where it
though.
came from.
Need more.
Yeah, you
And
need
I
more.
expect to get more.
Yeah, like to me, I'll say this to everyone in the chat: what we got from Sanji in 1031 is exactly what we mean when we say we need more, because that is the more
Yes.
we're looking for. That is depth. That is character defining moments. We need that from not just Sanji, Zoro, Robin.
Everybody.
We got it. Brooke, especially Brooke. Oh my God,
Yeah.
like Brooke. We need that. We need these moments. So Yamato, please, let's get that, and then bring Yamato on the Straw Hats, and we're good.
And I think that that can come. I've talked about it a lot. That one of the biggest and most pervasive themes in Wano is identity,
Yep.
and you see this left and right because everybody has a different person that they're portraying, to the smallest of all sorts of characters. I mean, you got Denjiro is, you know, Kyosuro, and also Ushimaru Kozo, Komurasaki, Hiyori, uh, you name a character. I mean, even to the point where Big Mom had amnesia, literally like messing with her identity. Kamazo, Manslayer, Killer, all of the Straw Hats choosing different names. There's so much stuff going on. Now you have this character that is steaming with like an identity crisis with Odin, right? So if we kind of have that introspective moment with Yamato where they figure out that they don't need to be Odin, especially once they see Momonosuke looking like Odin now, that may give Yamato the ability to sort of become their own person. And I think that that's the growth that is necessary to happen within this arc before they join.
Yeah.
And then last, Lucy B said, "Do you think Smile Eaters will be cured?" I think it's very possible, and I think that could be one of Chopper's biggest feats in the series.
Has to be.
Yeah, and I think it really should be mostly Chopper that does it, and not Law helping, because that's just going to diminish Chopper. So, and yeah, man. So that's I feel good. I had a blast, Jay. Thanks for dropping by. I'm happy to discuss, 1031. Talk about the excellent growth that Sanji had, why we need more of it. The live action talk was great. The Church of Crocodile talk was great as well.
New church for sure.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that's been here. We had like consistently like 500-600 people throughout. Still got
Very good showing.
So that's a strong showing. So thanks everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Anybody on that's here from my channel, check out Jay's channel. Like, comment, subscribe. JD Legend. All right. So he puts out his own videos. He does reactions to the chapters over at Twitch, then puts them on YouTube. And anything else you want to plug, man?
No. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Randy. It was a great time. Don't call me Gaimon. You probably shouldn't have said it, but it's already done. But that's it from me. And I can beat a zebra. I can beat a zebra. I can do it. I know I can. I just need a hockey bloom and it'll happen. I'm counting on a hockey bloom in the encounter with the zebra.
All right.
Savage.
And then I'll roll this out. Well, I'll roll this out on this since people were asking about it.
He said the gods, it was food. Devil, it was spices.
Certified drip.
It's about to get spicy.
Already went spicy.
Hey, look, he don't think, bro. He don't think.
Apparently.
What are you laughing at? Something in the chat?
The chat, yeah, that's just.
They're saying you can't beat a squirrel.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay. I could take the squirrel easily.
But all right, but is this a squirrel that's like? What if the squirrel's got a whole like bunch of nuts and stuff that's collected for a while?
Maybe I'm.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody.